Alright. So, outline is pretty much going to be the same as Tia's, but it's gonna be a little bit different because, her stances have a lot more depth to them than, like, Tia's Gustav Madness or Updraft. So that's going to be a large section of it. There's also going to be an entire separate section on Reversal Edge, so I'm going to talk about his strengths and weaknesses. The reason why Reversal Edge isn't in either of those is because it's his own section. There'll also be stuff on option selects on her stances too, and how to figure out what those are with your character. And then again, like Tia, there's going to be strengths, weaknesses, general ideas on what to do against her and how to beat her. And then just a couple miscellaneous things. Oh yeah, and her soul charge too, because her soul charge is fucking stupid. So, yeah, let's start. I'm gonna try to move this Google Doc so I can see chat while I'm reading this, but we'll see how long that lasts. Alright, so, Talim strengths. Like you saw, there are a fuck ton of Talim strengths. There are a lot of them. I think she's borderline top 10, and the only reason why I don't think she is top 10 is because she struggles against the top tier characters. Like, almost every top 10 character is a bad matchup for her. So because of that, she doesn't really do well in tournament, I think. So that's the only reason why I don't think she's top 10, but if that wasn't an issue, then I think she's absolutely top 10, maybe even top 5. So she has a lot of strengths that I want to talk about. The first one is her neutral tools. And more importantly with neutral tools is her movement. Because stuff that she can do in neutral, she can whiff moves at just a perfect range, right in your range to make you want to whiff punish, and then go back into Wind Fury, and then win can you for trying to whiff punish. And then if you don't try whiff punishing her, then she can do like Wind Charm and mix-ups like this, or if she's particularly far away, she can go in the Wind Salt. So her movement options, I think she has the best movement in the game. Even better than Hamaru, even better than Tyr because of this. She also has stuff, when she's up close, you know, she has unbreakable grabs. Going into raw Wind Charmer like this is not like a gimmicky thing that you can just interrupt. I guess if she's doing it a lot, you can, but realistically, you're not going to be able to even offline. Stuff like this. And she can also hit confirm this as well. Pretty much everything that she has that can transition the stance into mix-ups are hit confirmable. Staggers off of stuff like AAB, a tracking low that's 0 on hit, which is fucking dumb. Obviously she has the 6K, which is a great keep-out tool. It's an amazing keep-out tool, one of the best in the game. And then just a nice little long-range high that counter hit, knocks you down on counter hit. 18 frame punish gives you plus frames. Like, her neutral tools are insane. And then she also has this, if I can actually hit it. She also has this. If you get the spacing right on this, then, I mean, it's 85 damage and gives you a mix-up, which... And obviously, since we're playing SoulCalibur, normally if we're playing a fighting game without a block button, it's not a big deal, because you can just block. But the problem is, with Talim, if she's playing neutral well, she can go in, she can be out here and you're not blocking because you want to move, and then all of a sudden she can sneak in and do this to you. And, if you're not an idiot like me and you can actually do this consistently if you get the range right, then, yeah, if she plays neutral well and she knows what the spacing for this is, then she's just going to kill you. I'm trying to do an example of this, but I can't because it's hard. It's also hard for her to do if you play a character like Maxi, for example, that moves around a lot when he's not doing anything, because that's going to change his hurt box, and the actual point where that will lead the hit is very, very, very small. So Maxi can be standing still, and one moment he's in range for that lethal hit, and another moment he's not. So some characters, it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to actually be able to utilize that. But you can, and if you play against a Talim that can do that, it's scary. Can Talim do that consistently, though? No, I don't think so, because the hitbox is so small. But she can create opportunities for it, and that's a really scary part for neutral as well. And then she has whiff punishment, like this is super, super good. She also has this, which, you know, it's not necessarily going to work all the time as a whiff punish. But if you whiff, it will at least get blocked, and then it gives her a free mix-up. She also can do this as a whiff punish, which is super scary. Yeah, like, I think she has some of the best neutral in the game. Like, her neutral tools are just, if you play neutral with Talim, you're going to get rewarded a lot. The thing is with Talim, though, the reason why a lot of people probably care about this is because most people don't play neutral with Talim because you don't have to. But to me, as someone that does play neutral with Talim, I think her biggest strength is her neutral. So, I'm not going to talk about that too much because, I mean, she has the neutral tools. You kind of know what they are. The more important thing, though, is how to fight against her mix-up. That's what people don't understand, but I think that's a very important point, too, is that you should be scared of a Talim player that plays neutral, though not a lot of people do. Like, there aren't a lot of people that I've seen play Talim neutral. Like, the only people I played against that do that are Wind Charmer and, like, one person that was in B rank at the time and one that was in C rank. Like, 3 Talim plays. It's not a lot, but it's super, super strong. Strong counter hit combos as well, which I'm sure you know. Like, her counter hit game is insane. Just something like this, for example. Again, 76 damage. It did a little bit more because it did multiple counter hits, but still, it's doing around 73 damage. She also has this, which does all of this, and leads into a mix-up on Oki. Like, her Oki game is... It's incredibly difficult to deal with. What else? She also has this, which gives her a combo and again mix up about 58, 60 damage. Lots and lots of very strong counter hitting tools. That for what they are unsafe, but they're not very punishable. So it's extremely good. Her poking, again, I kind of already went over this with her neutral tools, but poking's fantastic because she has stuff like this for poking. She has a horizontal low that is pretty quick and is 0 on hit, which is rare in this game, of course. And then this she has as a poking tool. She has 6A, which she can mix up with 6K, which will knock down and is completely safe. She has 6B, which is 0 on block, can be plus, and that can be used as a poke that does a lot of damage. She has her AA, of course, which she can do AA, B, and stagger. She can stagger into the B by delaying it as well. What else? She has stuff like this, which against some characters will give her a side grab mix-up. On hit, some characters it won't. It also depends on the direction that she does it, but that is something that she can do. And then obviously she can go into like raw Wind Charmer and do A's, and she can do K for a poke that will wall splat. And now she has this, which while being -14, good luck punishing it, especially online. She has 6A, which is unsafe if she goes into stance, but she can hit confirm it into stance, so most of the time it's not going to matter. And then even her critical edge can be used as a poke because she can cancel into stance on block, and it's completely safe. It gives her free mix-up. So just her poking tools, stuff like this, stuff like this, stuff like even this. Just great poking, which feeds more into how good her neutral is. She has a couple of hard to deal with plus frame moves as well. Like this is the one that you see a lot. Her jumping B. It's a high, but if you duck it, it's hard to punish because she'll go over your head most of the time. It's plus on block, can break your guard, brings down your guard a lot. She also has 6B hold. She has like 3A, which is plus on block. There are ways to deal with it, but it can still be kind of hard to deal with. So that's another plus. One of the best wall games in the game. Like I don't think I need to explain it. 12 frame wall splat. Like 78 damage, and that's not even optimal. She has Wind Charmer K. she has 6-6B, which leads into this. And again, that's 0 on block now. And it beats Nightmare's Terror Charge now, by the way. She has a wall game that's comparable to, like, Cervantes, and who's another one? I guess it's more comparable to, like, Siegfried and Nightmare, right? Because the reason why their wall game is so good is because they have stuff like AGA that will wall splat and just kill you for being at the wall. And that's kind of what Talim has too, but in terms of how good it is, like how potent it is, I'd say it's on the level of someone like Cervantes. It's one of the best in the game. She's also one of the best grapplers in the game too, because she has setups that give her guaranteed side grab mix-ups like this against some characters that works against Nightmare. So let me show you that if I'm playing Nightmare, if I'm playing against Nightmare. So, like, if she does 8-8K, and specifically 8-8K, or maybe it's 2-2. Or maybe I'm thinking Siegfried. No, I'm probably thinking Siegfried, unless they've changed this, which they might have. Yeah, see. Bop, bop, bop. So guaranteed side grab off this, and then if you duck, then she has other things that she can do. You can, of course, duck, but that is something else that she has too. For her grappling, her grabs, frankly, they're just scary to want to try to duck. And then she goes in the back turn, and then she just murders you. 75 damage. 55 rings out. It's hard. How do you fight Astaroth as Talim? Is he a hard match? Astaroth as Talim. I think Astaroth is, I want to say that it's even or in Talim's favor. And the reason why is especially because of something like 6-6B. She can use that to get in on Astaroth. Astaroth has a hard time option selecting Talim as well, because of his frames. Of course, ducking against Astaroth is extremely good too, and Talim has from crouch 3BB, which she can hit confirm into a counter hit. It's not amazing, but against Astaroth, with how slow he is, that's pretty good too. Also, stuff like 6BB as well is pretty good against Astaroth, again, because he's so slow, and that leads to a counter hit combo. 6A is also really good against him. Like, the thing is, Astaroth is really, really slow, and you have really good counter hit tools with Talim. So I'd say, in general, use those. Her neutral kind of falls off against Astaroth, though, because of his range, but I'd say it's really good to use your counter hit tools and stuff like 1K, which is just a really, really great low against him, because it's 0, so you're essentially plus, because he doesn't have a 12 friendly. Oh no, he does. Doesn't he have 6B, A plus B? Well, whatever the case, he's so slow that it's essentially free, and then, like, you have stuff like this that if Astaroth GIs it, I mean, it's just not that it's just, in general, I don't think it's that good for him. But, you know, the thing is with Talim, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about too, which I just skipped to because it's part of the discussion. Talim in SoulCalibur is a lot like Yoshimitsu in Tekken. In that she has a tool for every situation. She can adapt to every situation. So when it comes to specific matchups with Talim, if you're a Talim player, it's hard to really say what you should be doing against the character, because she has so many tools that she can use that it really depends on where specifically you struggle in the matchup, right? And at the same time, it's the same thing when you're playing against Talim too. It's hard to say what you need to be doing different against Talim, unless I know specifically what you're struggling against in the matchup. Because she has so many different options and so many things that she can do, you can't really pinpoint that. But that's also a plus for her, is that no matter what situation you're in with her, no matter who you're playing against, how they're playing, there's always something else you can do to contest what they're doing. So, and that makes it really easy for her to just adapt. But in terms of specific matchups, again, whether you're fighting against Talim or as Talim, it's hard to say unless, like, if you're asking me, it's hard for me to say exactly what you do against Astaroth as Talim unless I see how you play against Astaroth with Talim. And even then, because Talim's a character that everyone's going to play differently, I also can't really say definitively what you should do, because what I might do isn't what what might be good for you, or what might work for you. So anyway, where was I before? I said one of the best grapplers in the game. Next one, her vortex. Her vortex. I don't even think I need to demonstrate. Her vortex is just insane because she gets it after pretty much every combo that she has. Her keep out, I already went over her keep out with her neutral, but that's strong. Her punishment as well. Her punishment is pretty strong as well because, yeah, it varies each time going against her. Yeah, with Talim, it's either you're going to get the mix-up Talim, and all mix-up Talims play the same, or you're going to get a bunch of people that play differently. Like, that's how it is. Like, 70% of Talim players are just going to play a mix-up, which, again, I don't think is the right way to play her, and not a good way to play her. And then 30% of Talim players are going to not play her as a mix-up character exclusively. And then of those 30%, like, each one of that, it can be divided into, like, 0.5% for each different category in that 30% of how that person plays Talim, if that makes sense. But again, that's why I say she's like Yoshimitsu in SoulCalibur, because it's that same idea. I'm saying that as a Yoshi player. But yeah, strong punishment. So AA, it only does 19 damage. This actually does less damage than Jolly Tier's 12 frame punish. And I think it's the only character in the game that has a lower damage 12 frame punish than Jolly. And if you start telling me about, oh, but what about her 4K that goes into Gloomy, I talked about this when I talked about Tiara, but really that's not doing 36 damage or whatever, because there's only a chance for her to switch, and because of that, really the damage that 4K is doing with Jolly is actually 20. The same as her AA, because that's just how probability works. And you have to look at that damage from what the average for it is. You can't look at it as, oh, she can do 36 damage. You have to look at it as, well, she can do 36 damage, but she can also do 15, and because she has a 27% chance to do 36 damage, you have to calculate the probability. You have to calculate the mean, and the mean is 20. So really, she's doing 20 damage with 4K as a punish. So Talim, I think, is the only character that has a lower damage 12 frame punish. No, Yoshimitsu does as well, but he has his AA, which is 10, and I think does more. And Yoshi's 4B gives him meter. But with Talim, the reason why Talim's is so good is because after this you get a mix-up. You it's super plus because you can delay this B, and if they attack into it, then you get AABB, or sorry, AABA into this, which is all guaranteed and does 72 damage as a mix-up, by the way. And then she can just end it and do pretty much whatever the fuck she wants, because she can take so long to delay this. So there's that, and also she can just go straight into it, and if she goes straight into it, then if she does like AABB or AABA, you can GI both of those options, but then if you GI it, she can do Core Circuit Forward B for a lethal hit punish, which again will do about 70-80 damage. And then she can also just finish this and go into stance for a free mix-up. So that's why her A is super good. Any of her grabs you can escape. I think that's my biggest problem going against her. All of her grabs are breakable except for this one. Sorry, except for this one. This one is unbreakable. But all of the other ones are breakable. If she does this grab, you can break the initial grab, which is back break. And then there's a second part to it. That's when the camera kind of zooms in. And then it's a 50-50 mix-up. Which you can, and I'll probably talk about this again when I get to it, but you can also tell which one she's doing based on what she says. So if I do that, so you see, so did you hear how when I did the forward grab, when I did the forward break, she said, I'm not done, and when I did the back, she said, listen to me. That's how you know which one she did. Just in case you're playing online and you don't know if you're breaking correctly or not, because of the online, that's how you tell. But you can break that. There are 2 opportunities to break that. But yeah, every grab except this one is breakable with Talim. Back to a punishment as well. Her 14 frame punish is BK. Let me turn off counter hit, which does 30 damage, which is, I mean, it's above average for a 14 frame punish. It's not like Hamaru AB or something like that. It's not like Setsuka Umbrella, but it's certainly above average. It's not just a BB. Her 16 frame isn't, oh yeah, and her other 12 frame punish is also this, which will wall splat you at the wall, so don't be minus 12 or higher against Talim, because otherwise you'll die. This is a 16 frame punish. It's not remarkable, but it's what she has. It's not great. The problem with her punishment comes from 18, because this is her 18. She doesn't have an 18 frame launcher, which only does 39, but again, when we go back to that vortex we talked about, she has a lot that she can do after this because it knocks you down. Still, I wouldn't call it good, but it's serviceable because it knocks down. And then she has some jank-ass setups, like she can jump and then go in the back to and stuff like that after it. And then she has a 20 frame launcher, which sucks. So her damage really, her punishment really starts to fall off when she's around 16, 18, minus 16, 18, 20. So those moves, if you're around there, normally, I suppose the best way to put it is they're relatively safer against Talim, especially minus 20, because she doesn't get much off of it. She can also do this as a 20 frame punch, which is actually what I usually go for. Because I think it's just better, and it gives her more, a better opportunity for follow-ups and damage and mix-ups, but, really, Talim, being minus 20 against Talim isn't as bad as it is against most other characters, but being minus 12, 14, that is much, much worse. I wrote on here, strong keep-out and, great keep-out tools. Go me. Thanks, Seth. Also, step catching is pretty strong, too, because she has stuff like this to catch step, which is safe, and is, mid-horizontal. She has this, which on counter hit will knock down and give her a free mix-up, and if you block the high, again, it will give her a free mix-up. She also has this, which I don't think is amazing, but she can hit confirm this, kind of. It's kind of hard to do it, but she can, and it is a stat catch. It's not amazing, though, and it's punishable, but I don't use it, but she has it, and it's not bad. And even though she doesn't have a ton of tools for stat catching, I think her general stat catch is pretty good. But if you play a character like Sophidia, for example, that can sidestep and high crush, that's a bit of a problem for her, because she doesn't have any horizontal mids. I mean, she has this, but it's not good, and it has no range. But in general, I'd say her stat catch is pretty good. I talked about her movement in neutral tools, so I won't go over that point, even though I wrote it down. Kills you for having low god stamina. I mean, again, I'm sure you already know this one, but this will lethal hit if you have low god stamina. She gets like 110 damage off of a god break, off of doing this, which is plus. It's insane. One of the best critical edges in the game, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage. In fact, it's... Oh, right. In fact, it's one of the, if not the lowest damage critical edge in the game, It's an amazing whiff punish tool. It low crushes. Oh, it does 70 damage. Yeah, that's not the lowest. Maybe they changed it at some point. I haven't looked at the damage in a while. But, anyway, like, look how far out she can hit you with this. Not quite that far, but about this far. Like, it's like Tira's critical edge, essentially, in terms of range. It's extremely good for whiff punishing, extremely good if you're playing good neutral with Talim. And then, of course, on block, it leads to a free mix-up, and I'll get into this more, but you can't contest her mix-up after, well, you can contest, I should say you can't hit a button after she does a cancel after her critical edge. So I think she has one of the best critical edges in the game. Not the best, but one of the best. She also has one of the best soul charges in the game. I'll get more in depth with the soul charge, but her comeback potential with the soul charge is insane. And it might just me be being biased because her soul charge used to be one of the worst in the game. And then well, no, not even season 2 happened. Like halfway through season 1 it changed, and then it became one of the best. And then everyone's got changed, and now everyone's fucking stupid because, you know, season 2 is a shit season, and everyone's soul charge needs to be Goo Goo Gaga's soul charge. Oh, well, anyone who's a fucking baby can play this game now if you go in the soul charge instead of having to actually think. And Talim's was the same way, but that got changed more midway through season 1 instead of during season 2, like every other character. So every other character has a shitty, easy-to-use soul charge that has absolutely no risk to it and has no counterplay to it, because everyone in this game should be played like a fucking child. That's why season 2 is a shit season. But anyway, and I already went over this when I said the Astroth thing, but again, because Talim has so many tools, and I'm gonna say it again, as a Yoshi player in Tekken, I really do think Talim is the Yoshimitsu of this game, because she plays very similarly. She can create opportunities out of bad situations, especially with her comeback potential, but also because of how many tools she has, her neutral game, her poking, her mix-ups. Like, she can adapt to any situation. She can be in a terrible situation, in a terrible matchup, and do good in it. She just has so many options. She can adapt so well to every situation, which again is a really big plus for her. I also, because this is a +2 with her Vortex and her Oki, this is something else I want to go over now because I don't know another section I can really go off it because it's really short. But off of her 6/6A plus B Oki. 6/6A plus B, this is going to depend a lot on not only the combo she's doing, but also the character you're playing, if you can avoid it or not. So 6/6A plus B, and everyone's annoyed by it because it gives her free mix-up if it's blocked, or it does guaranteed damage and then puts her in the stance if you're on the ground. So, if you aren't playing a large character, off of some of her combos, you can tech roll this right and completely avoid the Oki. You can completely avoid the mix-up. Sometimes Astaroth misses Talim because she's too short. Yeah, it does happen. Poor Astaroth. So for Siegfried, for example, if I do... Please. Let me have him tech roll right. If I don't do that combo, you notice how Siegfried tech roll. Oh, well, I'm getting into a different thing. Let me read the whole thing. So if you are on a large character, you can tech roll right 6/6A plus B Oki and avoid it if face up, feet towards. That's the general rule. If you aren't face up, feet towards your opponent after Talim does a combo, then you will not be able to avoid it with tech roll right. You won't be able to. Small characters can avoid some damage. They can avoid the second hit of it if they tech roll right, if they are face down, feet towards, like after the combo I just did here. Like, if you're in that position, if you are playing a small character, and apparently Siegfried as well, you can avoid the second hit of that move. You still have to eat the mix-up, but tech rolling right can't avoid that. But if you are playing a large character, like Siegfried, for example, and you are face up, feet towards, oh, well, Siegfried can avoid it. I guess some large characters can avoid it, and some can't. I think Astroth, or maybe Nightmare, I can't remember, one of them that I tested could not tech roll that right. But most characters can. If you're face up, feet towards, it's worth a try. So an example of a combo where it's a force block is off of, let me do counter hit, is off of this combo. Is it just 668 plus B? Can't remember. Can't remember what my point was here when I wrote this combo down. Maybe I wrote down the wrong combo. Oh, it's that. Yeah. I didn't think that would take so long. Sorry, I don't do this as a mix-up because I don't like it. So I'm not too familiar with it, but I can tell you how to beat it at least. Yeah, that's a force block. That you can't tech out of because there's no opportunity to tech after that combo. Off of 6-6B, this is guaranteed. That's completely guaranteed off of 6-6B. And then off of like this, it's not guaranteed if I could do the right combo. Off of that, it's not guaranteed you can tech roll right. But if you stay on the ground, then it'll hit. Or if you tech roll left. That's another important thing too about this. If you tech roll left, well, again, unless you're Siegfried, I guess, or unless in specific combos, but like in that situation, if he tech rolls left, it'll hit. So you always want to tech roll right if you go and tech roll it. But in some situations, that's avoidable. In some, it is a force block. And in some, you can avoid damage. In some, it's just guaranteed as a combo. So, I just wanted to bring that up because I didn't know where else to put that except like in between his strengths and his cons. So, Talim's cons. First one is she has to be in your face to do anything. And this is why, this is one of the reasons why she's a bad matchup against most top tier characters, against most top 10 characters, is because, they have range. And if you're playing a character that has range, if you're playing Siegfried, Nightmare, Ivy, you're going to have a much easier time against Talim because it's going to be a lot easier to keep her out. Because if you do a move that's punishable and has some pushback, Talim's really not going to be able to punish it. Now, like if you're Cervantes, she can do 6k, and that'll punish things. Before though, like before the last patch where she got that, she could not punish Cervantes at all. For the most part. But again, if you're playing a long-range character, if you're playing like Hamru, for example, I think Hamru is pretty decent against Talim because he has 6B as a keep-out tool. If you have stuff like that that can keep her away from you, that's really good. Because she has to be right in your face to be able to do anything. And that's not entirely true, because again, if we go over her neutral tool, she can of course do this to get you to whiff and then win cannon, or she can do this as an approach. So she does have approach tools, but they do carry some risks to them, and that'll be another thing I talk about. But in general, if she's not right in your face, she can't apply pressure, and she can't really contest you. But again, that's where her strong neutral comes into play, so you have to keep that in mind as well. And that's why she doesn't just lose 9-1 to characters like Ivy. Sig needs 2 hands to hold his sword. Nightmare only needs 1. Hey, Sig is faster. I mean, Siegfried is a soy boy compared to Nightmare, but you know, Siegfried is also, I don't know. Siegfried, my hand. Okay, here's another thing too. Approach with CE to mix up is my idea. Yeah, that is an idea, and that is a good point too. That's especially good at low health. It's not so good when your opponent, if you're playing Talim, if your opponent isn't on low health, or if your opponent is like tier Hamru that has really good movement, because I guess with the first point, it's not worth using the meter because Talim's critical edge is one of the best whiff punishes in the game. You use it the same as Tia's. It's just 2 frames slow if she's in front turn, but it is one of the best whiff punishes in the game. And most of the time you want to save that for either being a whiff punish or for soul charge, because its soul charge is so good. But if your opponent is on low health, then yeah, using it to approach to get free pressure and to potentially kill is really, really, really good and scary. But on the second point, if you're playing a character, or if you're Talim playing against a character that has really strong movement, it can be easy to also get out of the critical edge range because it takes 18 frames to start up, as opposed to the normal 16. So you can try to bait it and then back out of its range and then launch it for it. So that can also be something to think about if you play one of those characters. But that can be scary, and it can be a really good tool. Again, her approach tools are all high. So the thing is with Talim, she does have other means of approaching than just highs. She has stuff like I talked about, like this, which can make her just get in if she wants. But this carries risk to it, because obviously she has to have this start up. If you know the range of Talim, you know when this is going to whiff, and you can hit her out of it. You can counter hit her if she's doing this too much. If they can test it, then they can knock you out of her going into like Wind Soul, Wind Charmer, but then she has Wind Fury as well to try to punish that punish. But there's risk to that, and there's also risk to her doing this because it's a vertical and it's slow as fuck, and this is another tool she can use to get in. But again, the point is, if she's doing a mid, or she's doing something cheeky like whiffing a move to try to go in the Wind Soul, or just raw Wind Soul or something like that, because of how long it takes, there is a lot of risk to it. So her main approach tools that she can use, especially now, are 66B, 66B, and 66A. The thing is, though, both of these moves are highs. That's the problem. Both of these moves are highs. Essentially, what you have with Talim, for her to approach, is a Claudio or Lisa running 2, but without a mid mix-up. That's what you have. And what that means is when you know, and let me switch back to Talim real quick from Siegfried here. When you know that she's going to approach you, when you know she's going to do something like 66B, you can just duck it and launch her. Okay, that's not what I told you to do. That's not at all what I told you to do. But yeah. Watch out for the lingering hitbox. But there's that. And then obviously this has much less range than 66B, so if you know what the range is, then you can feel pretty free to just step guard there. That's a pretty solid option. So that's a big weakness too, is you can, so to combine this, if you try staying away from her and keeping her out, and then you duck when you know she's going to approach, you can just keep her out. Oh, I just came back to the chat room. Hi, I'm sorry if I missed any messages from when Hyperactive Hot Dog talked about her C as an approach. I don't know if I missed anything, but apparently I disconnected from chat. Thanks, Twitch. So I already talked about her being susceptible to keep out tools as well. She's susceptible to high crush. I kind of already talked about that as well, but a lot of her really strong tools are highs, and her mids in general, unless she's right in your face like this, for example, while they will hurt if it counter hits, it's still punishable, so there's that as well, and she's not going to be doing that all the time unless you just don't know how to deal with it. What else? You know, this is a con I wrote down, but I'm gonna have an entire section on this, so I'll talk about that later, especially because if I say it now, people are gonna be like, what do you mean at this point? And I'm gonna be like, well, I'm gonna take another hour to explain that. Again, this is something else I already kind of explained, but to get into a mix-up stances, she has to take big risks outside of using meter. If she just does it by itself, the fastest move that she has out of just doing Wind Charm or A is 33 frames. So that takes a while. And while she's doing this, she's in a running state, which means she can get run counted. So going into her stances raw is fairly risky. Doing like AABA is susceptible to being ducked and launched. 66A plus B is very slow vertical. So it can be stabbed, she can get counter hit off it. There are a lot of things that you can do to stop her from being able to do that. And outside of that, other things like 66A to put her in the stance are punishable. Potentially punishable, potentially not, depending on the move your opponent does and what you do. And has some other mix-ups in it, like you can go in the Wind Fury to bait, punish, and then Wind Cannon them, stuff like that. But in general, going into her stances to mix up should carry risk to her. It's not just free all the time, unless it's off Oki, in which case it is. Oh yeah, and the other thing too. If the Talim player can't adapt, she dies. Again, Talim has ways to adapt to any situation, but if she's in a situation where she can't adapt to what you're doing, she just dies. Just kill her. Because there are always ways to beat what Talim's doing. There are always ways to adapt to what Talim's doing. And if you start doing something that she can't deal with, you just win. So, I'm going to go over how to beat Talim. And then I'm gonna take a break. It's been a while, and I need to rest my voice. So general notes on how to beat Talim, and then we'll get into more specific things like Soul Charge and stance transitions and option selects and reverse ledge cancels. But learn her strings, learn how to option select stance transitions, which I'll talk about. Keep her out of range 1 as much as you can. And again, there are ways for her to work around this as well. Like I said, her neutral tool is extremely good. It's not an end-all be-all situation, but she's the scariest when she's right in your face, so try to keep her out of your face. Duck when you think she's going to approach as a general rule, and there are ways that she can do, like, oh, fuck. Like that, for example, to catch you ducking, but, that's why you kind of fuzzy duck, when you think she's approaching you. Because otherwise stuff like this isn't going to work well because it's slow. Only approach when you have to. So, like, when you're on low health. Or when she has the potential of, I don't know, doing something that will cause you to be at lower health. And when you do have to approach, try to be the one that approaches her. Don't let her approach you, because if she's approaching you, she's going to have an advantage. Try to be the one that initiates contact with her, and try to be the one that hits her first or tries mixing her up first, because then while you might not have advantage afterwards, you're not gonna have an advantage if she comes in at you. So try to be the one who approaches her if you have to. Don't fall for whiff bait stuff like this into Wind Cannon. That's whiff bait. It's really, really good for her. She can also just, like, be out here and then do this. She can also, if you whiff, she can do this for a lethal hit. Stuff like that, right? Don't fall for that, because her whiff punishment is extremely, extremely good, and she has, it's, her potential to bait you into whiffing is extremely, extremely good. Don't mash, because her counter hit options are really, really good. Try not to use really slow options either as much as you can, because if you do, she's just going to counter hit you and kill you, especially if you're doing it a lot and she can get a read on it. Contest her mix-ups, again, something I'll talk about, but contest her mix-ups, you have to, or she's just going to be able to keep doing it over and over again, she's going to kill you. That's why most Talim players just play a mix-up heavy, because people don't know how to beat her mix-ups. But you have to contest them. You have to. And practice how to fight her with your character. Because how you fight against Talim is going to change based on the character you're using. It's going to change a lot. Like, for example, obviously I'm a Talim player. I know how to play against Talim with Talim and Tier, because I play against Talim with Talim and Tier a lot. I haven't got a fucking clue how to play against two with Hamaru, because I play maybe 5 people with Hamaru. 5 Talim players with Hamaru. And because of that, I don't do as well as I should in the Talim matchup with Hamaru. Because Talim is going to change. The way that you play against her is going to change with every character you play. Like, every character you play, the matchup is going to be entirely different. And it's going to be so different, even if you play the character... Well, I shouldn't say that, because most Talim players don't know how to play against Talim. But, oh, well, let me get a drink. But even if you really, really know how to play against her with one character, you're not going to know how to do it with another character. You need to take all of the opportunity you can to play against Talim. When you get the opportunity to with your character. Even if it's frustrating, you have to take the opportunity because you have to play against the character in order to know how to beat her. Again, a lot like Yoshimitsu and Tekken. And then the last point I want to make on how to beat her is a lot of people don't do this. If she can't adapt to what you're doing, keep fucking doing it. Keep doing it. You have to... If you're doing something that the Talim player can't beat, keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Because the thing with the Talim matchup, when you're playing Talim, when you're playing against Talim, it's constant adaptation. You're constantly changing what you're doing. The Talim player, if they're good, is constantly changing what they're doing. If they can't figure out how to adapt to you, don't fucking change. Because if you change, then suddenly what the shitty Talim player is doing that hasn't been working is going to start working. Or, if it's not, they're going to find something that will work against what you're doing. If you find something that's beating the player, keep doing it. Keep doing it and keep beating her with whatever you're doing. Because there's no sense in changing how you're playing if it's working. A lot of people will say, oh, but that's playing lame. Well, no, the Talim player is just shit. You're playing lame against the Talim player because she's lame and she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing and she doesn't know how to play against you. And if you start changing up how you're playing because, oh, it's lame, then she's just going to beat you. So, just, if she can't adapt to what you're doing, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Because Talim's biggest weakness is the person controlling her. Talim can do anything. Talim has so many options. She can do anything, but, if the person can't, then that's the weakest link. And you have to abuse the weakest link when you can. And really, that's how you beat most Talim players. Because again, most Talim players are just Unga Bunga mix-ups. And if you know how to beat Unga Bunga mix-ups, then they're going to keep doing it because they don't know what else to do. They don't know how else to play Talim. And then you just win. So, that's, in general, how you beat Talim. I'm going to take a break real quick because I need to rest my voice and I need to stretch because it's been a while. And then I'll go into Soul Charge. So let me add text real quick. Be right back. Put it like there. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, let me also do a test. I want to make sure that chat's working. Okay, cool. Oh fuck, I minimized. Ugh. Text document. Okay. Alright, so, hold on. Gotta move things again. No, that's fine. Okay, so, moving on to Talim's Soul Charge. Talim's Soul Charge fucking hurts. Talim's Soul Charge is, used to be one of the worst in the game, and now it's one of the best because, there's no risk at all anymore to anything she does in Soul Charge because they want to turn Talim into a fucking baby character, and they want, everyone's Soul Charge in this game to be for fucking babies. That's why Season 2 is a shit season. Anyway, yeah, everything fucking hurts. It makes her mix-ups just incredibly dumb, because they're mostly safe, and they do obscene amounts of damage. She's plus out the ass. Her 14-frame punish, gives her more damage than some characters' 18-20 frame launches. It does 70 damage. And this is as a punish, like, no counter hit. That is a punish. At minus 14. Going off topic, but is Tekken Season 4 supposed to be announced soon? There is going to be, and I'm going to be restreaming this tomorrow. There's going to be news about it after, I think it's East Coast Throwdown or whatever. It's going to be a tournament on the Tekken channel tomorrow at 9 Eastern Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so, whether it's going to be an announcement or not, I don't know, but there's going to be news on it tomorrow. Oh, her 16-frame punish, fucking hurts. You know why it fucking hurts? Because she gets all of this, and then, she doesn't get the follow-up because this game is good. But, yeah, her 16-frame punish just fucking... It does 62 damage as opposed to this, but you know what the difference is? You know what the difference is? She's back turn. That's the difference. So, that fucking hurts. But, she still has to be in your face to apply pressure. Now, you can't really duck so much when she's in Soul Charge because she has that, which is a special mid instead of a high. But, she still has to be in your face, and she still has to use this, and of course you can step it if you know she's going to get in. So, yeah. So general tips against Talim Soul Charge. Stay the fuck away as much as possible. She also, when she's in Soul Charge, she becomes a Velociraptor. So if you watch Jurassic Park, you know what that means? You don't fucking move against her. You know why you don't fucking move against her? Because if she counter hits you, you fucking die. So you don't move against her unless you absolutely have to. And keep her out of Wind Charmer. And obviously don't be more than minus 14. Well, actually, you don't want to be minus 12 either. I forgot about this. Clever girl. I forgot about this. But you don't want to be, minus 12 either. You know why you don't want to be minus 12 against Talim? Because this essentially becomes free, and her mix-ups, she gets out of Wind Charmer. You know, and well, normally, with this string, you either GI the last hit, or you duck the high. The problem is, she gets that if you GI or duck. So she essentially gets AABA for free, and, then she gets Wind Charm mix-ups. And the only way to beat that is to use half of your meter on an RI. So also don't be minus 12, I guess. Yeah, just don't be punishable. And do everything you can to keep her out of Wind Charmer. Just do everything you can, because that's where her mix-ups come from. That's where her super strong mix-ups come from. And if she counter hits you when going into this, then, again, you die. So, there's also that. Alright, so her soul charge strings. Back the hell up when she's in soul charge. Actually, that's a point I was going to make. Normally, yes. That is what you would do against her. Except the last patch increased the range of her 6-6B. So now backing up against her in soul charge is going to be more likely to get you lethal hit. Because this thing hits from the other side of the fucking stage now. So, like, so, usually yes, but after the last patch, no. Because, again, Project Soul wants to turn Talim into a fucking baby character, and they want to make Soul Charge so easy to use with so little risk, and so little thought that a 5-year-old can play a character in Soul Charge. Again, that's why Season 2 is a shit season for SoulCalibur. Because they do it with every character. Including Talim. So, backing up, so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's not like Hamaru. You can do it, and depending on the range, you might want to do it, but it's not like Hamaru's Soul Charge. We're backing up. He doesn't really have anything to do except try his best to get in, and you can use Keep Out to keep him out, because she has 6-6B. But if you're backing up and you're sidestepping, so if you're backing up to avoid this and you're sidestepping to try to stop her from using this, that's a good option. Because then she has to guess what she's going to do, and of course if she's right and she hits you, then it fucking hurts. If she does the 6-6B and you step it, then obviously you launch her and she loses half of the soul charge. Her 6-6A, you can GI in the middle of it if you block it, and it's also a high. So, Nightmare's case, what options would I have in a tough situation while she's in soul charge when she's in my face? Hope. Honestly though, Bubble, is pretty good. It's pretty good. The problem is, I'm pretty sure they changed this move so it beats Bubble now. Let me double check that, because I might be wrong. And if that's the case, then it's not that good. But the thing is with Talim, when she's in your face and she's in soul charge, she's not just scary. She's mostly scary when she goes into Wind Charm, and that's what you want to avoid. But the biggest problem is her AA becomes a poke that lets you go into soul charge or into Wind Charm essentially for free. Unless you RI and you spend half the meter. And with Nightmare, that can potentially be good, especially if you're in Care Charge. And also especially because he can AGA it. But, if he can bubble. Oops. Yeah, no. That he can't do. It is a decent option, though. Because if, again, she AAs, or she does really anything except this, Bubble isn't going to work. She can't do that. No, she can't do that. So that's good. But then the other problem is she can also do this, which will go through as well. But, like, if I go into Soul Charge, if you Bubble, then the problem is she can do this, and that's only minus 14. So, yeah. I'm doing the wrong combo. I don't know why. Apparently that just doesn't work on Nightmare. Yeah, apparently that combo doesn't work on Nightmare. That's pretty funny, actually. Like, I have to do that, but still. But the idea is you don't want her to do this as much as possible, and doing Bubble gives you a better opportunity to stop her from getting Wind Charm mix-ups, which are going to do the same thing. Guarding and hoping. Well, I guess the way you gotta think about it in terms of risk-reward is, she can either do this and get a free mix-up that's going to do all of this, potentially. Or you risk getting hit by... Sorry. You risk getting hit by this, and having to deal with that turn mix-up. Like, that's the guess that you have to make. So, you do have an option, but it's not a good option. It's not in your favor, and it fucking sucks. But, and then again, if she does this, you can also RI that, as Nightmare, which, is a decent option to get her off of you. But, yeah. You can also guess, too. You can feel free to guess if she's going to do the A and duck it, but chances are she's just going to do this and wind cannon you. So that's another thing. But, it's something you can try. Soul Charger if you have meter. Yeah. Yeah, if that is something you can do. If she does AABA or AABB, yeah, Soul Charge is a very good option. Because that will avoid anything she does. If she does AABA in the stance, Soul Charge avoids everything. AABB afterwards, Soul Charge avoids everything. It's just the problem is if she does AABB and then she RIs, I mean, you know where that's going. But, yeah, Soul Charge is a pretty decent option, too, if you have it. On the Talim Soul Charge strings, I just went over how AABB works. Oh, I guess another thing, too. If she does AABB, keep in mind, Wind Fury is not a mix-up. It is not a mix-up stance. The only low that she has is this. I see quite a few people that will preemptively try to duck after she does this, and then I just get this for free. Don't duck, because otherwise she's getting all of this. And again, she's back turned, she can just fuck you up for that. Especially if she does, that. Oh boy, we're back in the same situation again. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, don't duck Wind Fury. And if she goes into Wind Charmer, interrupt it. A lot of people will do is they'll do this, because they'll think it's a free mix-up. I don't know how well Nightmare would be at avoiding it, but if I switch back to Talim to show you, you can react to her going into Wind Charmer off of that and interrupt the stance transition. So, that doesn't just give her a free mix-up if she does the B. She only gets the free mix-up if she does the A. So don't let her just be able to do this for free. And a lot of people allow that. See? You can do that. Now, again, if you're playing, like, Nightmare or Siegfried or someone that doesn't have a 12-frame 2A, then I'm not sure if you can react to it. You'd have to test and see. Yeah, Nightmare's options are very limited, yeah. I imagine, though, Nightmare can use the bubble. I imagine he could. Oh, God, see, now I'm trying to teach you how to play against Talim and, labbing at the same time. Because I'm curious. But I guess this is also good, because it also shows you how you should, look at Talim's options in lab. Oh, fuck, I did this the wrong way around, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Hold on. Let me go to Nightmare real quick. And then Talim. Because here's the thing. So she does A, A, B, B, and then this, right? And then Dirty Bubble. Yeah, you can do that. And I think the only thing that won't work against is the A plus B. Will that work? I can't remember, to be honest, off the top of my head. I always forget. Yeah, it doesn't work. But if she does that, this will work. See? So, there's that. But chances are, again, because most Talim players are shit, they're just going to go for A mix-ups, and the bubble will beat that. So you can do that. You might also be able to do... Yeah, 6A you can do as well. So there are options. There are options, but this is why I said before, you really have to experiment all of these options with your character, because it's going to change a lot on a character-to-character basis. Like Talim here, I can just 2A. With Nightmare, I have to think about bubbles and armor and all of that stuff, but there are still options for it, so that's something you have to experiment with your individual characters, but... Struggle too much with Tom, but whenever I get caught in his strings, it's almost impossible to get out of. Well, we will talk about her strings. We will talk about her strings and some general rules and things you can look at to apply to Nightmare, whatever character you're playing. So you can see what options you have against Talim. So, hold on, back to Soul Charge real quick. So other strings she has in Soul Charge. BKA, this full string is -16, it's natural and normal hit. Don't let her get away with it. The second hit's high, you can duck the high. You can jump the low or just punish it. 2BAB, it's -14, or you can GI the third hit. You can't step it, even though it's vertical. 66AAAB, this string. After this initial first hit, you can GI this hit and this hit. So you can GI here, and you can GI here. And it's a level 3 as well, which means you can launch her for it, so... don't let her just get away with that either. But as a Talim player, what I'm going to do most of the time is I'm going to hit confirm this, because even though this second hit is punishable, who the fuck is going to attack into it? And also, then if you GI on the third hit, lethal hit. So, yeah, there's a risk to GIing it, but you can, and most Talim players, again, will just go all the way for it. So, yeah, GI it if you can. But also, when she does this, be careful of her going in the Wind Charmer after it, too. Don't just get tunnel visioned on her doing the follow-up to it. Make sure to watch out for her going in the Wind Charm and interrupt it, if you can. And then previously, again, and this is something that you actually can't deal with. I just want to complain about it because Season 2 is a shit season. So before, you may have known that you used to be able to sidestep this. They changed it so you can't sidestep it anymore, and it's just a free special mid-break attack because Talim's a baby character now. And Soul Charge is a baby mechanic now, and they want people to just, you know, not have any risk when being in Soul Charge. Because Season 2 is a shit season. Just wanted to complain about that, by the way, because that's a fucking stupid change. But you can RI it. You can. You probably shouldn't, but you can. Alright. So, here is the, I guess you could say, the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. Is beating Talim's stance transitions. This is like, oh my god. Okay, so this whole section from my notes is a page and a half long. Just so you know. So this is gonna take a while. But it's the most important thing that you need to know about how to beat Talim. Okay, so I'm gonna go on the 8-way round real quick. Okay, so, and I'm gonna put this on YouTube. So I know, Gabe, you might be the only one here, so I'm not trying to talk directly to you. But SoulCalibur players in general, I understand, can't do math. They cannot do basic arithmetic. This was true when I tried talking about tier and probability, and this is also true for Talim when it comes to basic subtraction. So, if you can do basic arithmetic, great. Then you're already 5 steps ahead of the average SoulCalibur player. But I'm still going to walk you through how to look at her frame data anyway, so you understand how her stance transitions work. So, when you're looking on, like, 8-way run, or you're looking at frame data in general, you'll see if she does, like, AABA into Wind Charmer, she is plus 24 on block. And plus 28 on hit. This is not misleading, but it's a little bit confusing. Because, yeah, she is plus 24 if she goes into stance, but her moves, like, if she could theoretically be plus 24, go in the stance, cancel on frame 1, and do a launcher, she would be able to launch you. You would not be able to block it. But the moves between doing AABA and going into stance and doing a move take a lot longer than 24 frames to come out. So when you're looking at this, the fastest move that Talim has in a stance that she can cancel into is Wind Sault A plus B, which is 28 frames. So, if you do the math, and this is why AABA on hit into Wind Sault A plus B works, because she's plus 28, and it's a 28 frame move, so it's all guaranteed, it's all natural. But what this means is if she does AABA, cancels into Wind Sault, and does A plus B, if you theoretically had a move that was 4 frames, it would trade. If you had a move that was 1, 2, or 3 frames, it would beat it. So that's how you have to look at this when you're looking at her frame data and her cancels. And I'll tell you all of the moves because I have them written down. I'll tell you all of the moves and what their frames are. So, hold on. And again, I'm going to go over this in more detail. This is just so you generally know how to read her frame data. So, Wind Sault A plus B is her fastest option at 28 frames. Wind Charmer A is her second fastest option. That comes out at 31 frames. Wind Sault K is her third fastest, and that comes out at 32 frames. Wind Fury K is her fourth fastest and comes out 33. And her Unbreakable Grab and Wind Charmer is her fifth fastest move and comes out 36. So, I know that's a lot, but again, I'll go over this in more detail so you have the general frames that you have to work with. But those are her fastest moves out of her stance cancels. And just to show them to you so you know what they look like, I can turn off display capture. You don't need to see that anymore. So, again, this is her fastest option. This is her second fastest. This is her third fastest. This is her fourth fastest. That's no, sorry. It's Wind Sault K. I wrote Wind Fury K for some reason. Sorry. This is her fourth fastest option, and this is her fifth fastest in all of her stances. So now let me break down all of the moves that can cancel into all of her stances and tell you what you can do against them. So, the moves that are completely plus and you cannot option select and give her pretty much guaranteed mix-ups and you have to contest the mix-ups. Let me get out of Soul Charge real quick. And again, this is going to be a lot, but the VOD will be there. I'm going to put this on YouTube, so if you want to look back at it, you can. It's going to be a lot. I'm going to go over it once, but it will always be there for you to look back on. And I'm only going to go over it once because there's just so much to go over. But, again, the moves that you should not contest after you block them, because they're plus 24 on block, and again, her fastest move is 28 frames, and her second fastest is 31, so she's plus 24. Her second fastest move, which is Wind Charmer A, is 31 frames. I mean, you can do the math. You have to have a 9-frame move to beat it. And if you're Taki, then you do have that, but Taki's the only character. These moves are AABA. She does AABA, she's plus 24. If she does 6A plus B, plus 24, don't attack. If she does 6AA, again, plus 24. 6BB charged, only the charged version. The non-charged version you can punish, and it's very punishable. But the charged version is plus 24, don't attack, and her critical edge. So all of those, AABA, 6A plus B, 6AA, 6BB hold, and critical edge. If she does any of those and you block them, do not attack after them. So, on what I call the second tier, which puts at plus 16 when she goes in the stance. This is a move where if you're playing a character with a 12-frame move, it's risky to hit her, because if you have a 12-frame move, and one of these moves is 668, so let me just demonstrate this real quick. A 12-frame move will beat anything if she immediately hits a button. The problem is, something like A is going to lose to Wind Fury Wind Cannon. So that is something that a good Talim player is going to use if she notices that you're doing a 12-frame move to beat what is her fastest option when Sault A plus B, is she's going to do Wind Fury to Wind Cannon you as a punish. So you see, a 12-frame move won't avoid that. If I just do an A, it'll punish it. So that's something to look out for. And if you play a character that doesn't have a 12-frame move, then you cannot option select this reliably. Because you have to have a 12-frame move to beat her fastest option. I know that sounded a little bit convoluted. I'll break it down more, but that's just general stuff you need to know. So, in this tier, the moves that put her at plus 16 are 6A, 4B, and Wind Charmer A. Wind Charmer A. No, sorry. I did Wind Sault A. Wind Charmer A. So this, cancel. These on block will put her at plus 16. So, you can interrupt, if she does this into Wind Sault, you can interrupt this with an A. You should be able to interrupt it with an A. It shouldn't trade. I don't know why it's trading. That's interesting. Okay, I guess it will trade with a 12-frame move, which is still honestly fine. And then Wind Charmer A. I guess, yeah, that's a bad example because it forces crouch. Let me do, oops. I guess it trades with a 12 frame. Okay, never mind. I guess it's plus 17 then and not 16. I guess the frame that was wrong. But 12 frame will trade, which is still fine. So 12 frame will trade with the fastest option. Sorry, I said beat. But again, if you do an A and she goes, like I demonstrated, you can do an A, you can do a 12 frame move, but then if she goes into Wind Fury, she can punish that with Wind Cannon, so there's a risk to doing that. There's a big risk to doing that. 15 frame beats Wind Charmer A. So if I do that, and I do that, 14 frame move beats Wind Charmer A. And the reason why I say 15 is because it will trade with a 16 frame move. So there's that. A 16 frame will be Wind Sault K. Talim player. Talim player. Yeah, so 16 frame beats that. 17 frame beats Wind Fury K. 20 frame move beats Wind Charmer A plus G. The main thing here, even though that's a lot, the main thing to remember is most of the time you should just be doing a 14 frame move after this. Because if you do a 16 frame move, a 17 frame move, a 20 frame move to try to beat those other options, Wind Charmer A is going to counter hit you, and it's gonna fucking hurt. So if if, like, a Talim player is never doing Wind Charmer A or Wind Sault A plus B, then yeah, do a 16 frame move, do a 20 frame move. But if they are, the general rule is to do a 14 frame move. That's going to be your best bet, but again, be careful because she can go into Wind Fury, and that is a mix-up. And a good Talim player, of course, is going to mix up with Wind Charmer A and is going to mix up with Wind Fury. So you're never going to have guaranteed punishes, but you're going to have options. And I'll get into how to contest Wind Fury and Wind Sault and Wind Charmer, especially Wind Charmer, later. And that's going to, I think that's going to help a lot more. If like, okay, well, you can punish it and you can interrupt it, but if she has all these other options, and why would I and not just... I will explain it. Again, it's a very complicated character to fight against. Alright, so on the next tier, these are moves where she's plus 10 on block, which means you just murder her. And these moves are 6BB, which you see a lot, and from crouch 3BB, which you see a lot. From crouch 3BB, by the way, is minus 20 on block if she doesn't go in the stance. So you're completely free to do anything to her. 6BB if she doesn't go in the stance is minus 16. And off of both of these moves at plus 10, a 16 frame move will beat this. A 16 frame move will beat Wind Sault A plus B, and a 21 frame move will beat Wind Charmer A. Off of those moves. And then the second to last tier is 2288A and Soul Charge Wind Charmer AKAA. These transitioning in the stance will leave her at plus 4. So this transition and this transition. A 22 frame move will beat Wind Sault A plus B. So, yeah, she's extremely punishable, but there's a but here. There's a but here. For whatever reason, after she does these moves, the evasiveness of Wind Charmer is increased. So, let me show you. If I do this, for example, that avoids that. I don't know why the evasiveness is increased, but it is. I think part of it is because since she's not as plus, her move doesn't come out as fast, so her hitbox doesn't get expanded. That's my guess. I'm not sure though, because she's still plus 4, so I don't know, but the evasiveness of that is increased. So you're going to want to do a 22 frame or less horizontal that will kill her for counter hitting her. Generally. What you can also do if you want is you can delay your launcher slightly if you think she's going to go into Wind Charmer and do a move, because again, as you probably know in this game, when someone does a move, their hitbox gets expanded. They get fat even when they're sidestepping. That's why you can sidestep a move and do like 3B and then get clipped by a vertical. And then pro players are like, why did I get clipped by the vertical? It's because you hit a button, your hitbox got expanded. It's just like Tekken. So if you delay your launcher a little bit, if you think she's going to go in the Wind Charm and hit a button, then your launcher will hit her. But you have to be very careful about it, because you're only plus 25. And I say you're only plus 25, but again, you're only plus 25 if she does Wind Charmer A, which means you have a very small window to actually be able to input that correctly and launch it for it, or else you're getting counter hit. So, that's just something that you can keep in the back of your head and remember. But generally, you just go in the wall and do some sort of horizontal that's 22 frames or less. After those options. And then the final tier of complete shit that you should absolutely be punishing at every opportunity you get is Wind Sault A. This is plus 2 on block. And again, the problem is, just like last time, because she's only plus 2, it's easier for her to sidestep, vertical, so you're gonna want to do a horizontal most of the time. But if she does that into Wind Salt A plus B, you have 24 frames to interrupt her. Here's the thing, though. She's not going to do Wind Salt A plus B because you have to crouch to block the move, and because of that, she's just going to go right over your head if she does Wind Salt A plus B. So she's probably going to do Wind Trauma A, which means you can do a 27 frame move to interrupt it. So, again, keep that in mind. And, again, you probably, if you want to do a vertical, you probably want to delay it. But, those are your options for her stances. Those are the generalities. So, yeah. And another thing to keep in mind here, too, all of these moves that she's doing, she can hit confirm them in stance. Which means that you also have to take into account how punishable all of these moves are as well when you're deciding what to do against Talim. Most Talim players are just going to go in the mix-up, though. Most Talim players are going to do that. But she can just do nothing, and then she's much less minus. Like, Wind Salt A isn't minus 24 on block. 2288A, I think, is minus 18 on block, but not minus 22. So that's something else to keep in mind as well. But with these moves that are much more punishable, because of that, you have more time to be able to react to her going into stances. And you can also just get a read on her. And again, you counter hit her for hitting her out of these stances, and depending on the character, that can mean she just dies. So a lot of Nightmare moves are minus on block. Well, with Nightmare, of course, and with any characters, it's very different than this, because she can choose how minus she is, and not only that, but you have to punish like this as well. Otherwise, you're just letting her get free mix-ups for no reason. So, like, most people don't know that after 2288A, you can just launch her. You can just launch her for it, too, so, yeah. So I've been talking so much, I'm getting lightheaded. Alright, next order of business. How to beat Talim stances. I think that section too, by the way, is the most important one. The one I just went over. But this one I also think is incredibly important because, again, it's letting you know what your options are. So, Wind Salt and Wind Fury, I'm just gonna go over briefly because there's not really much to them. Wind Salt, A plus B is minus 14. So, thanks, Tom. So this one is minus 14. Please punish it. Please punish it, because I just told you with her stances why that move is so threatening, because it's the fastest move out of her stance cancels. And it can also ring you out as well. And it gives her a follow-up. So, if she does that, you have to punish it. Generally, a good option select against Wind Salt, Sidestep, and Duck. Unless she does it off of one of the plus 24 moves like the AABAs and the 6 AAs. Unless she does it off that, if you Sidestep and Duck, that's a good option select. You don't want to do it at the ring though, because A plus B will catch you for that. But that'll beat the K, it'll beat the K hold, obviously. It'll beat the B and it'll beat the A. The only move that can beat that option select is the A plus B. So it's not really an option select, but it's an option select. And then Wind Salt B, this is punishable. It's minus 14, minus 16 if she goes into stance, but it has, just like this, but it has too much pushback for you to be able to punish it. But it is punishable. I think Setsuka can probably punish it, but I can't imagine any other character that can. Wind Fury, again, really simple. Wind Cannon is launch punishable. Launch it if she does it. The low is reactable. Please, for God's sake, react to it. It's also 0 on block, so jump over it if you can. And also, some online Talim players will cancel this into Wind Charmer. This is a completely online thing. What you can do if you play Tekken, this is just like dragging off Snake Edge Grab. Just do a 12-frame move, or, well, yeah, a 12-frame move when you would normally block the low. That's the best way to stop this. You can also react to it as well. That's why I say it's an online setup, because it is. But that's how you beat Wind Fury. Okay, Wind Charmer. This is gonna be long because this section I have of notes on Wind Charmer is an entire page, so bear with me. But all right, let's start with how to beat her individual moves. So AB, this is -8. This used to be -12. This is -8 on block now because again they want to make Talim into a baby character that's safer than she should be. Favoritism, by the way. But this is -8 and leaves her in back turn. Here's the key here. She can't GI because she's in back turn, obviously. And she's -8. So if she hits a button, you can launch her. Because her fastest move out of back turn is 14 frames, which is 2A. And her fastest actual back turn option is her K, which is 16 frames. And so since she's -8, and her fastest move is 14 frames, if you do a 20-frame move, that'll trade with the 2A. So just, if she does this, sorry, not that. If she does this, just kill her. If she's doing this and constantly hitting buttons, something a lot of Talim players will do is they'll do this and then this dumb shit. Just launch her for doing that. Just do like a counter hit vertical or some shit that'll do 100 damage and kill her. AKA this. The last hit is -4, but it's high, low, high. A lot of people after blocking this low will stand up and block the high. Don't stand up and block the high. Just block the low, crouch under the high, and then launch her for it. Because again, otherwise she's -4. BA. This is -4 and leaves her in back turn. And like I just said, her fastest move out of back turn is 14 frames with 2A. So that will trade with an 18-frame move if you do it after the BA. So, there's that. This, Wind Charmer BB. This you can sidestep. The second hit. No one does it. I'm guilty of not doing this either because it's incredibly hard to react to it online. But you can. Try to do it. Just try to do it. Oh, yeah, and I should mention, too, what about BA? Jesus Christ. What about BA? What about the BA strength? Won't that catch me? It will, but look at the damage it does. There's also a very specific timing to this as well that can allow you to kind of option select both of them because the BA jails for a little bit of time, and it comes out faster than the B, so it's... You can kind of option select it, but really, I mean, that A isn't doing anything, and if you sidestep the B, then you're just gonna launch it, so, yeah. And again, if she does the BA, then you can, then she's -4, so. Hello, Zanakin. It's really good shit, thank you. I'm glad that it's helpful. I hope you were here when we went over her stances and how to option select them, because that went on for a while. But again, I'm going to make sure to archive. Oh, you weren't here, damn. Don't teach how to beat her. Stop it. I'm sorry. Yeah, go back to the VOD because I think that's really important. But yeah, if you just got here, I'll give you a short breakdown. I'm sorry for the people that were already here. But just to give you a short breakdown, when you're looking at a frame down 8-way run, the general way to know how to beat her stance transitions. Hold on, I'm trying to alt tab here. When you look on 8-way run, stuff like AABA in the Wind Charm, it says it's +24. You have to remember one thing, that her moves when she transitions into stance are more than 24 frames. So you have to look at like, okay, so this is, like, this is plus 10 into Wind Charmer. What's the fastest move she has out of Wind Charmer? And then do the math there. Her fastest move out of Wind Charmer is 31 frames. So, is it 31 frames? Let me double check that. Yeah, it's 31 frames. So if you do a 21 frame move, it'll beat anything she does in Wind Charmer. And stuff like that. So that's how you look at this. And then if you just so you know, and again you can look through the VOD because I went into much more detail. But her fastest move is Wind Salt A plus B. Second fastest is Wind Charmer A. Third is Wind Salt K. Fourth apparently is Wind Fury K. I already wrote Wind Salt K. I don't remember what her fourth fastest option is then. So just ignore that. But then she has Wind Charmer G. Her fourth and fifth fastest options don't really matter though. But yeah. So yeah, I'm telling everyone how to beat Talim. Adapt! Adapt, all you shitty Talim players! Adapt! Yeah, so again, I'm just gonna go over this very briefly. If you want more detail on how to do this, there's the VOD. But you're not just gonna be able to do the same mix-up over and over anymore, you fucking nerds. Hello? Oh, sap bug. So the only time where you can't really attack after she does anything is after she does AABA, 66A plus B, not 66A, 66A plus B, 6AA, 6BB charge, not the non-charge version, only the charge version, and critical hit. Those leave her up plus 24. Her fastest move is 28 frames, and that's Wind Salt A plus B. And then her second fastest is Wind Charmer A, which is 31, and when she's at plus 24, unless you have a 9-frame move, so if you Taki, Wind Charmer A will beat anything you do. So generally just don't attack after those moves. After 66A, 44B, and Wind Charmer A, so those moves, she's plus 16. So a fastest move being 28 frames, you can interrupt that with a 12-frame. You can interrupt Wind Charmer A with a 15-frame move. You can interrupt Wind Salt K with a 16-frame move. But what you gotta watch out for here is if you do an A, she can do this in the Wind Fury and then Wind Cannon your ass for doing an A. So there's a bit of a mix-up, then you have to be very careful when she does those moves. But, those are your options there. And if you do a 12-frame move, unless she goes in the Wind Fury, your options select anything. Except for just doing nothing, in which case you could get GI'd. But that's a whole nother thing. And then 6BB and front crouch 3BB, which is the option you see the most from Talim players. This is only plus 10, which means a 16-frame move will beat Wind Salt A plus B. And a lot of characters at this point have moves that option select everything. Like front crouch 3BB is minus 20 on block and 6BB is minus 16. So if you do a 16-frame move that has far enough reach to reach her going into Wind Fury, like for example with Talim, what I can do here is I can do that, and that's an option select for everything. Tyr can do 6BB, 2B can do 66B. A lot of characters at this stage have option selects for anything Talim does after these moves. So they're extremely punishable, and they'll also counter hit. And then 2288A and Soul Charge Wind Charmer aka a plus 4, which means a 22-frame move will beat her fastest move, will beat Wind Salt A plus B. But because of how little plus frame she has, Wind Charmer becomes more evasive, so if you throw out a vertical, she could step it after she does these moves. So if I do like this, for example, and I try launching her, even though a 22-frame move would normally hit her there, I got lethal it because it avoided it. But if I delayed the hit a little bit, it'll hit her, because in SoulCalibur, just like Tekken, if you do a move, then you become fat. Your hurt box gets expanded, so if I delay my 3B a little bit, then I can launch her for it. But then the problem, of course, becomes, well, then if she goes in the Wind Salt, she can mix you up. So at that point, you really just want to do a 22 frame or faster horizontal move that'll do really good on counter hit, like a step catch move. And then Windsault A is only +2, so a 24 frame move will beat all of her options. So yeah, that's the... Again, sorry for anyone that was here who already heard that, but that's the general, like, how the stances generally work and how you beat them. But something else that you gotta keep in mind, too, is that she can choose to not go in the stances, and she can hit confirm in the stances. Most Talim players won't, because most Talim players are trash. But she can, and because of that, like, if she does Windsault A obviously isn't -24, so she can then, she can do something. Like, she can crouch cancel into a GI or something. So there's that. So you have to be careful with that, but, that's generally what you gotta look at, and most Talim players will just do anything into a stance because they think it's free. So you have to look at your character, and you have to see what works with your character. Like, what works with Talim is 6k. 6k is an option select for everything. Tier is 6BB. 2B is 2B. Harumiru doesn't really have anything too great. But you have to look at your character's options, and some characters aren't going to have very good options to be able to option select even 6BB. Again, like Harumiru. Harumiru doesn't have anything too good. He has, like, BB, but that's not amazing. But that's the general breakdown of how to beat her stances for anyone who wasn't here. And again, I'm sorry for anyone that was already here and heard that, but I wanted to reiterate because I think it's the most important thing. Besides how to beat reverse ledge cancel, which I'm going to go over after this next thing on beating Wind Charmer. So where was I on Wind Charmer? Oh yeah, BB, sidestep BB. Here's the thing, as well. BB, if she doesn't do the break attack, will catch step. So that's something to watch out for, but I mean, again, it's like the A, and the A is probably the better option anyway, but that will catch your step, and it's only -8. And then her A plus B, this is 0 on block, so jump over it. Like, don't block it, jump over it. But that's her individual moves in Wind Charmer. So, now we get to the option selects. The option selects, see, this is what's really important because the thing is, every option you can do, even doing nothing against, Talim's Wind Charmer will beat 2 of her options, but generally lose to 2, and trade with 1. So I'm gonna go over all of those options and tell you what beats what and what loses to what. And this is in no order. I just threw this in the order that it came to my head, so it might seem a little bit out of order, but, if she goes into Wind Charmer, if you duck, it will beat A and the Unbreakable Grab, but lose to B, B, and K. So, really you want, what I wrote here, and I might change my mind on this, because I did this after spending 4 hours writing this, so, might be completely wrong. To do this, do this if you're confident she will do the grab and you're not near a wall. Because BB will give really good Oki and K will wall splat. So, yeah, you really don't want to do this to duck the A because there are better options to avoid the A, but there aren't many good options to avoid the grab and not many as good as just ducking. So if she's doing the grab a lot or you're really confident she's going to do the grab, that's mainly when you want to duck. But you really don't want to duck at the wall, because at that point, then the risk of getting hit by K, which will hit you for ducking, is just... And the reward she gets out of it, and with it being safe, is just so astronomically skewed and not in your favor. You pretty much never want to duck if your back's to the wall. But if it's not, if you're out here like in neutral, and she does the K, this really isn't going to do all that much. Really the scary thing is going to be this BB. And yeah, that's really scary because then she goes into back turn and she gets mix-ups, but yeah, ducking will beat the Unbreakable Grab and the A. An immediate GI. So if she does this and she does like this, if you GI immediately when she goes in stance here, This will beat the A and the K, but it will lose to the BB, the grab, and the A plus B, and empty. And the reason why I specified and empty here, let me reset so I don't accidentally ring myself out, is because if I do this, and I immediately GI after this, if I can actually GI properly, notice how I get lethal hit here. That's why I say it loses to empty. Empty Wind Charmer. So, where was I? But it will beat the A and the K. So, again, I don't think this is too good for the A, because, again, when she transitions out of this stance, you can interrupt that, and you can GI after this initial hit, and you can just block it. And the K as well. And this is why I kind of think it's good, because if you're at the wall, then you can step this, but the problem is then if she does the A, and I'll get to this, but if she does the A, then you're getting counter hit. So, GIing that K is, especially if you have a move that can lethal hit post level 2 GI, is pretty good. If you don't, then it's really not, because it loses to so much. Again, it loses to the BB, it loses to the grab, it loses to the A plus B, and those ones are just because the timing is just slow, a little bit slower than the A and the K, so it will beat that immediate GI, and then you saw the lethal hit with the empty. So it's really not that great, but you can do it, and again, it really depends on how the Talim player is playing. Like, if they're just mixing up with Ks and As, then yeah, just GI her ass for it. But moving on, Sidestep will beat the K and the BB, but lose to the A and the grab. And then, if you're asking, well, what about A plus B? Well, you can still react to it, so that's why it's just neutral. But, yeah, so if I do this, like I already showed you with the K, but if I sidestep here, then now whiff, and I get a full launch punish. The problem with this is if she does the A, then she gets all of that guaranteed, and she can even go into back turn for back turn mix-ups if she chooses to do the B. So it's high risk, high reward. And then of course if she just does the grab too, like it's not as bad as the A, but it's still the same thing. She gets the Oki, she goes in the back turn, and that's not good. But it's still a good option if she keeps pressuring with the BAs or BBs, or if you're at the wall, because at the wall she's more incentivized to do K, or at the ring, she's more incentivized to do K, and it's much more rewarding for her. Then it can be a good option, especially because the A and the grab aren't going to wall splat. And also with the K, if she's doing the K a lot in neutral and you sidestep it, then the risk reward to it, like it's a big risk and not very much reward. But then at the wall, it can be a big risk, but it can also be a really big reward. So by sidestepping that K, you're also offsetting that risk reward by punishing her really hard for stepping it. And again, this is really good if you play like Ivy or Aswell that has a lethal hit off of sidestepping a move. But sidestepping beats those options. A delayed GI will... So, by a delayed GI, I mean when she does this, you slightly delay your GI timing. Like that. Like right around when she would do the A. And this will beat the BB and the grab. You'll block K and A. But you'll lose to A plus B. Excuse me, you'll lose to A plus B and empty. And the reason why you'll lose to A plus B is because if you delay this GI, you'll get lethal hit. That's a Season 2 thing, I think. And then I already showed you with the empty, it's the same thing. If she does empty wind charm, and she does course, it could afford B and lethal hit too, so. Delayed GI is usually a pretty good option, because you're not going to have a lot of Talim players that are going to do A plus B and empty. It can be a little hard to do, though, because the timing is kind of strict, but it can be pretty good. But the other problem is, if you keep doing it over and over again, the Talim player, as long as they're not stupid, is going to catch on and start doing empty Wind Charmer into core circle forward B. Or they're going to start forcing A mix-ups because A will get blocked. And then you'll have to deal with the A mix-up and whether you GI'd or not, and then you're in that same situation where you could GI it, but then she could go into a stance and then mix you up again, or she could do core circle forward B for the GI. So, yeah, so usually it's a pretty good option, but you don't want to use it all the time or you're going to get punished pretty hard if you're playing against a good Talim player. Reversal Edge. This is the one a lot of people do. So Reversal Edge will be the K, the A plus B, and the grab, but it will lose to A, BB, specifically the break attack, and empty. And the main thing here you might be asking is, well, how does it lose to A? And the answer is because A is completely safe to Reversal Edge. Here's the other thing too. Here's the other thing too. Let me have Talim real quick. You don't see this very often, and in fact, I can't remember the last time I did this because it doesn't happen very often. But, yeah, Talim gets a lethal hit off of sidestepping that, and if there's any time that she's going to be able to use this lethal hit, it's after you've done something that's Reversal Edge safe for her, like Wind Charmer A, and she sidestepped it. So, yeah. And then, of course, even if she doesn't do that, guess what? She's got that for 74. So, generally, Reversal Edge... Oh, yeah, and then I should also say, with the BB, obviously, second hit's break attack, and then empty. Well, it's the same thing as her A. She can just lethal hit you or launch you for it. And then, I mean, again, what does it beat? It beats the K, it beats the A plus B, and it beats the grab. And I should have actually looked and seen what is Reversal Edge safe. I don't really think about that, honestly, when I'm playing Talim, because I'm just thinking if they go in the Reversal Edge, I'm just going to do the A. But yeah, the K is Reversal Edge safe. The grab isn't, and the A plus B I don't believe is, but I could be wrong. So let me see. This was a much better option in Season 1, when you couldn't block Reversal Edge, but you can see even the things that lose to it, she can block. So really the only thing that this beats is the grab. And, yeah, Reversal Edge against Talim's Wind Charmer is just really, really, really bad. And that's not even going into, like, she can do this, and I do this a lot against people who are using Reversal Edge a lot. Like, if Talim does this, and then, actually you can't do this in Talim versus Talim because Talim's too small, but against almost every character, what I'll do if I see someone using Reversal Edge a lot is I'll do something to go into Wind Fury, and then I will wait for them to do Reversal Edge, and I'll Wind Cannon them. And I even do this against pro players sometimes, too. Because they just get so scared of it, and then, yeah, like, Wind Fury just, or Wind Cannon just murders them for doing that. So, there's that. The way that this can be good, though, is if they're mixing up Wind Sault and Wind Charmer, and they're not doing Wind Fury, and they're not doing Wind Charmer A's, or they're Wind Sault, they're doing it a lot, and it's scaring you a lot, then it can be a good option, sometimes. But against Wind Charmer, like, if you think they're gonna go in the Wind Charmer, no, it's incredibly bad. It's a terrible option, to do against Talim. Oh yeah, and then for the things that it does beat, which is the K and the grab and the A plus B, I mean, I've just gone over them. There are much better options to be able to beat those that put yourself at a much lower risk than Reversal Edge. So, yeah, Reversal Edge is just bad. Alright, doing nothing. Yeah, doing nothing is an option, and it can be a good one. So doing nothing will beat the BB, because you can sidestep it, and the A plus B, because you jump over it. But it will force out a mix-up. But if she does A and then cancels it, you can interrupt it, obviously. and will give you advantage with K because she's -8, I want to say off the top of my head. I didn't write it down, but she's very minus. Borderline punishable. And it will lose to the grab. So the only thing it definitively loses to just blocking is the grab. Which is what Talim's going to do most of the time if you are just blocking. And that's what makes her Wind Charmer not complete fucking garbage, because otherwise you could just block it and it would do nothing. It would essentially be like Wind Fury. The other bad thing here is with the A mix-up. Obviously this is a very low risk option, because if you block the A here, she can do 36 damage, or she can do 25 and go in the back turn. You can GI after the A, and that will option select both the K and the B here. Of course, then if she just does this, you can do this. You know, I'll get more into it, because that's its own section. But, it'll force the A mix-up. That's probably... No, the grab is probably the worst thing. The A mix-up is kind of bad, but at the same time, you sidestep the BB, you jump over the A plus B, you have frame advantage if she does the K, and if you guess correctly on the A mix-up, you can really hurt her. You can really hurt her. Like, if she does AKA, you duck under the high and you launch her. You GI her, it's level 3 GI, you can launch her. You can launch her. So, you can get rewarded for the A mix-up. You can. So generally, doing nothing is honestly one of the best options you can do against Wind Charmer. Which sounds ridiculous, but it really is one of the most proactive options you can do. But the problem is, again, you can't do it all the time. Just like the delayed GI, you can't do it all the time. Because if you're doing it all the time, then Talim go grab, Talim go burr, Talim go mix up, Talim go, hey, I'm one of the best grapplers in the game, and I just took off more than half your health because you didn't, you were just blocking, and I did one other mix up to you. So, it can be one of the best options, but you can't just do it all the time. You can't just do it all the time. So, those are all of the options that you have against Wind Charm mix-ups, and that's what it beats and doesn't beat. There's obviously other stuff our characters can do, like parries. Like, I didn't go too much into it, but like if you're 2B, for example, if you do a parry, or, well, most characters' parries, even Haru's, parry is going to be everything except the K and the A plus B and empty. But parry is extremely good against, and I didn't write this down, so this is just off the top of my head, but parry is extremely good against, Wind Charm mix-ups, because, depending on the parry, of course, like Haru's parry, like, that shit's going to fucking hurt. 2B, not so much, but it's still going to do a lot, and it's going to put you in the optimal range, and obviously there are others like Tia's Gustav Madness as well, which can be good, because it can give rope. It can be bad because it'll put a -9, it can. But, parry is if you have it, is a very, very good option as well. But it depends on the character you're playing. The risk reward is going to change depending on the character you're playing. Of course, you don't want to do it at the wall because it'll go through, K will go through it because it's a kick, and parries don't beat kicks. And then, well, yeah, it's Talim at the wall. But parry's pretty good. And the A plus B won't lethal hit you too. Actually, it might lethal hit Haru. I'm not sure how that works. But it won't lethal hit Tia, it won't lethal hit 2B. And then, so really the biggest risk is if she does empty Wind Charmer and then she can launch you for whiffing the parry. That's really the biggest risk. But parry is extremely good against Wind Charmer too if you have it. So, those are the options. Next, Wind Charmer A mix-ups. So, just to keep it very brief, you can GI both the K and the B after Wind Charmer A, which is this one, if you don't remember what that is notation-wise. You can GI both the follow-ups, I should say. But obviously, it'll leave you vulnerable and you can get lethal hit. So, like, let me just demonstrate that she can do this empty and then do timing. 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 There we go. Oops. Yeah. So that's the risk there, but obviously if she does the low high and you duck it, she gets launched. If you GI it, it's level 3, so you can launch her. And depending on your post GI options, it's going to be better for some characters and others. Like some characters can only get 50 damage. Some characters can get 70. So yeah. So all right. Now all of that out of the way. General advice on what to do against... Is this Wind Charmer or just in general? I think it's Wind Charmer. Find what your opponent's tendencies are and choose the option that makes the most sense. Of all of the ones I listed, most of the time, because most Talim players are just going to do 2 or 3 things, because their brains are very, very, very small. That's why everyone says that Talim's a small brain character, because most people play her like a small brain character, and most people play against her with small brains, because they don't know what to do and they don't map the matchup. Most of the time, Talim players are just gonna do 2 or 3 options that you can option select with one thing. Or even if you can't option select, the thing that beats it, they're not doing something good that beats whatever option you're doing. If that makes sense. Like, if you do an immediate GI, most Talim players aren't going to do an empty Wind Charmer in the core circle forward B if they're doing that. Most Talim players are going to do like A plus B or some shit. Like, they're not going to do anything that's really all that... I mean, I guess I shouldn't say A plus B isn't that good, but you get the idea. I guess, like, if you duck... Talim players, if they are doing the grab or they're doing the A, they're going to do the K or something like that. You know, they're not going to do anything that's really threatening for what you're doing to beat them, because they don't know how to beat what you're doing. Because Talim players are usually shit. So, find what your opponent's doing, find what the tendencies are, and choose the option that makes the most sense. Also, see if they're flow charting as well. Really pay attention to what strings they're doing, what options they're choosing after what strings. Because some Talim players are going to have very different, and specific moves that they do after doing like 6BB as opposed to AABA. Like they will do very, very different things, but they'll do the same 2 moves over and over and over again, off of a certain transition, or a certain situation. So keep that in mind. Also, don't be predictable, because a good Talim player wants you to keep making the same choice so she can punish you really hard for it later. In general, Talim's mix-ups are not in her favor. What Talim has to do to make these mix-ups good for her is to condition you and to get into your head, so that you start GIing, and she knows you go in the GI so she can do 70 damage to you or 80 damage to you, right? That's how her mix-ups become good, is by making you predictable and conditioning you. If she can't do that, then these mix-ups are not in her favor, because otherwise she's just throwing things out at random, and you're going to end up at the end of the day doing more damage to her than she's going to do to you. So that's how she makes these good. And a lot of Talim players can't do conditioning. They can't do mind games. They just force mix-ups. They don't know what they're doing, because they don't know how the character works, and they don't know how to play against the character. That's why most Talim players don't like mirror matches. But the problem is, if you're playing against a good Talim player, that's what they're going to do. So you can't be predictable with the choice you make. If the Talim player keeps doing one option, you gotta mix up your answer with 2 different options. That's the best idea, because every option that she does has a different way to beat it. So either mix up with 2 different answers, or just guard, because again, just guarding is a super, super, super good idea. So mixing up, like, in general, mixing up doing nothing with doing something proactive with GIing is really, really, really good, and is better than just guarding all the time or just GIing all the time. Like, say a Talim player keeps doing keeps doing Wind Charmer A. Say a Talim player keeps doing this over and over and over again. If you keep GIing against this move, eventually, if it's a good Talim player, she's going to do nothing and then do Core Circle Forward B and lethal hit you. So what you need to do instead is you need to do block sometimes, or duck sometimes would probably be a better option against A. Yeah, ducking would be a better option. And GIing. And then if you duck and GI, well, then she has the B, but then if you stop blocking the B, then you can sidestep the second hit and launcher. Like, you see how the mind games work, and these are the things you have to understand when playing against the character, and that's something that's going to come with time and playing against Talim, but, that's the general idea and mindset you should have. Also, last tip on beating Wind Charmer is gauge the risk-reward based on your character. Oh, I just connected to the chat, apparently. Well, I guess if anyone sent a message since Matt JF sent, the Scatty Cat emote, I might not have seen it. Twitch is shit. Twitch is acting up today. My apologies for that. Sorry if you think I ignored you. I really didn't. It's just Twitch is being really bad today. So, gauge risk reward based on your character, their punishment, their post-GI, and their damage. Because some options, like ducking, are going to be bad for some characters than others. Post-GI going to be bad for some characters than others. So, the risk reward for GIing is very different with, Talim, for example, who doesn't have a post-GI lethal hit, when compared to Keelik, who does after post-GI level 2. So, like, GIing a K is going to give a lot more reward to Keelik, and for Talim, it's going to give nothing. It's almost not worth doing. So you have to gauge the risk-reward for that and determine which options are best for you based on the character you're playing. And it's going to change based on the character you're playing. So you can play against Talim with one character you play, and the options that you choose, or you should choose, are going to be very different with that one character than another character, even if you play the same Talim, because of the risk-reward there. And again, most of the time, though, Talim is at a much greater risk of... Or Talim is at a risk of taking much more damage than you if you guess correctly. And again, that goes back into in order for her to get around that, she has to condition you and do mind games in order to be able to get around that weakness, I say in quotes, of Wind Charmer. And if you play against a good Talim player that can do that, then yeah, Wind Charmer can be extremely scary and extremely devastating. But, yeah, so... figure out what options are best for your character in a given situation. And that's everything on Wind Charmer. Now! It's been 2 hours. Now! I need a drink. Oh my god, my throat and my jaw hurts. Holy shit. Ugh. Alright. On Talim's reverse sledge, cancel! Talim's reverse sledge cancel is not fucking real, people. Holy shit. Okay, let me start by saying this, because SoulCalibur players are bitches, right? SoulCalibur players are some of the biggest bitches in the world, like comparable to NRS players. When I say Talim's reverse sledge is shit and it's not real, I am not saying that I am not defending Talim's reverse sledge. I don't even fucking use reverse sledge with Talim because I think it's fucking garbage. I think it's unusable fucking trash, and everyone, it's the most complained about thing in this game, but it blows my mind that everyone complains about reverse sledge cancel, but not a single fucking person, including pro players, even bother labbing it. Like, it blows my fucking mind. Like, it takes 5 seconds. I feel like I'm the only one that knows how to beat reverse sledge cancel, and I'm, like, showing you the hidden arts right now on beating Talim. Because it blows my goddamn mind. But I'm not defending it. In fact, I think Talim would be exactly the same what she is now if reverse sledge was removed from the game. I think it should be removed from the game. I think Talim would not change tier-wise if it was removed from the game. And you have all of these people, especially pro Talim players, that say, well, Talim needs it for this and that. No, she fucking doesn't. You just rely on it as a crutch because people don't know how to beat it. Like, that's what it is. Reverse sledge cancel is a crutch. And if reverse sledge cancel was removed from the game, which it should be, the character would not change. She would not change at all. Even individual matchups with Talim would not change. So I need to get that out of the way before I tell you how to beat it, because some people are gonna be like, oh, look at this guy, he's defending reverse ledge. No, dude, I don't even fucking use reverse ledge cancel. It should be removed from the game, but it's a fucking crutch. Reverse ledge cancel is a crutch. And every Talim player you see that says, oh, she needs it, uses it as a crutch. And it's like the biggest lie in SoulCalibur. Talim's reverse ledge cancel. Like, her having it doesn't aggravate me. It's what people say about it. Like, it's legitimately the biggest lie told in SoulCalibur VI is reverse ledge cancel. So, let me tell you how to beat it for the 50th fucking time. By the way, if you see a Talim player that relies on reverse ledge cancel as a crutch, you should be laughing at them. I fucking went, and if you watch me play against Talim players, 99% of Talim players use reverse ledge cancel as a crutch. If you know how to beat it, you can beat 99% of Talim players. This includes Talim players at S rank. If you know how to beat this, you will be laughing in the face of every fucking S rank Talim player. Well, not every, because like Wind Trauma doesn't rely on it. But you will be laughing in the face of most Talim players, and Talim will become the easiest matchup for you, because it will just be a free win, pretty much, against most Talim players, because everyone relies on this, because they think, oh, it's real, I'm going to use this as my game plan in every situation, because they don't play the character, and it aggravates me, and it makes her look like a baby character when she's not, and she's actually incredibly hard to play properly. But because no one labs this fucking matchup and just likes to complain about shit without actually labbing anything, I'm looking at you, all of the pro players on Twitter, complaining about tracking when you don't know which way to sidestep. What was I saying? I don't remember. I'm just calling out the pro players for being, for not labbing shit and just complaining, like a bunch of bitches. But anyway, okay. Reverse ledge cancel. Here's how you beat it. So, the first thing, you can interrupt, and you can interrupt Wind Charmer on reaction, on reaction up to 16 frames. If you have a 12 frame 2A, this is the best option. And this is true even if you, do a reversal edge punishable move like a grab, you can still interrupt it even after you do that. Now, that's not going to be true for all of them, but it's true for most of them, and because you have to remember, it takes, if she goes into Wind Charmer, it takes 31 frames for her to do a move. That's a long time. And you can see it coming too, because you know she's going to cancel the stance. So, let me just demonstrate this for you, how that you can react to this. So, let me just do this immediately. So that's the fastest that she can do it. This is like midway, and this is all the way, right? So if I do play recording random, and obviously if she does it all the way, then you know when she's going to cancel it, so that makes it even easier. But yeah, like, this is the best option. The reason why I say a 12 frame 2A, you can interrupt this with something that's much faster. See, there I go doing an actual option select, which I'll get into in a second. But the reason why I say 2A is because if she does win Charmer K, then that will crush high. So if you do like an A, that can beat the AA. But in general, you can react to this with up to a 16 frame move. That's what I found from my testing. So, and yeah, you can do this online too. Here's another thing to keep in mind as well with Wind Charmer. If it's fully charged, see there I go option selecting it again. We'll get into that. But Wind Charmer, if it's charged up, can avoid verticals. So that's something else that you need to keep in mind too. It can avoid verticals. But here's the thing. And here is there are two very important things here. And this is only going into Wind Charmer. Well, this is mainly going into Wind Charmer because it's the stance most people go into. But You can still interrupt Wind Fury. You can still interrupt Wind Sault. Wind Sault in particular is much harder. But Wind Fury is you can react to it. Wind Charmer you can react to, and Wind Sault you can. It's just online it's a bit difficult. But this is mainly gonna go over Wind Charmer because that's what most people do. Well, that's what everyone does because everyone thinks it's real. There is a specific timing where if you do a certain frame horizontal at a specific time, no matter when she cancels her reversal edge, it will hit. Because, notice how I'm holding up here. It takes time after she initiates reversal edge for her to be able to cancel into stance. And it takes her 31 frames when she goes into Wind Charmer to be able to do a move. So say you do an 18 frame horizontal, right when she cancels into Wind Charmer. Well, it takes 31 frames for her to do a move, and you do an 18 frame move on the frame she canceled into Wind Charmer, right? So, because of that, you have a 13 frame window between the earliest point that she can go into Wind Charmer and you have a 13 frame window after the earliest point she could go in the Wind Charmer for you to be able to do that move. And if you do that move within that window, then that option selects the entire stance, the entire transition, even if she goes into Wind Fury. Although it's 3 frames shorter of a window because sorry, did I say Wind Fury? I meant Wind Sault. It's a 3 frame shorter window because Wind Sault A plus B is 3 frames faster than Wind Charmer A. But that's how you do it. So again, all of these are different timings. So if I do 6A here, and generally 6A or 6A, an 18 frame horizontal is your best bet here. But you can notice how I am consistently hitting her out of reversal edge. There's a very specific timing to this. And then you say, oh, well, what about sidestepping? What if she just does it? Well, here's the thing. Sidestepping and then doing the move, an 18 frame horizontal, is generally the way that you gauge the timing. So, you're supposed to sidestep on reaction and then do it. And then you say, oh, well, what about online? Yeah, online can play a factor if they're a 3-bar Wi-Fi warrior, but generally it's not going to be a big deal. Because you have a big enough window to be able to do this. Because again, if you do an 18 frame horizontal, it's a 13 frame move. And again, why do I say a horizontal? Well, it's because if you do a vertical, it can avoid, Wind Charmer can avoid that vertical. So that's why you want to do a horizontal. But that's how you option select reversal edge cancel. You sidestep into about an 18 frame horizontal move that will fuck her up on counter hit. That's the way that you option select it. Want to go more in depth? Want to go more in depth on how to beat the biggest lie in SoulCalibur? Alright, so, as you probably know, because I've talked about this a lot, because it's very, very important for Talim. If Talim in Wind Charmer, she can avoid moves when she goes into Wind Charmer. She can avoid verticals. But, if she presses a button, which almost every Talim player is going to do after reversal edge cancel because they think it's real, they think it's a real mix-up, that makes her fat. It expands her hurt box. It's just like Tekken. So, you see where I'm going with this. So, if I have Talim, say do this, right? Now, if I just do a vertical, okay, that clipped it for some reason. That was weird. But if I just have her do a vertical, okay, that clipped it for some reason. Oh, right, because there's, I forgot about this, but there are actually some verticals that have a large enough hitbox that Wind Charmer won't actually avoid it. Hamaru's sidestep B is one of those moves. Talim 6BB sometimes is one of those moves, but sorry. I'm trying not to accidentally. Okay, well, you know what? Fuck it. You see the point. You saw him able to dodge it before, but you can see when she hit a button, she got fucking fat, right? So the thing is, when you see her go into this... Okay, there, I did early enough that she avoided it. But, again, there's a specific timing, and this depends on the move that you do, because it's going to vary. The window that you can do this is going to vary based on, the amount of time it takes for your vertical to come out. But, you can see her go into Wind Charmer, or you can also predict when she's going to go into Wind Charmer. Fuck's sake. Hold on. Let me try to do this. There we go. And counter hit launcher. If you're feeling really brave and cocky, and honestly, you should be doing this. You know why? Oh fuck. You know why? Because most Talim players are just gonna do reverse sledge cancel at the same timing. Like, oh, you didn't hit a button, let me immediately reverse sledge cancel. It helps if you do a move like this one, that catches step. Like you saw, she didn't even hit a button there, but it caught her step. And again, this is something you have to experiment with the character that you're playing, but there are verticals, again, Haru's sidestep B is one of them, Talim's sidestep B is one of them, that will catch, Wind Charmer. So, you do have verticals that can launch that will option select, just like I told you about the horizontals. So, you gotta look out for those moves too, but, yeah. And you know the great part about all of this too? I'm doing her fastest move here. If I do her slower moves, it just becomes even easier. If she does, like, B, if she does Wind Charmer B, the window I have to do 6B beat counter hit becomes larger, because her hitbox is being expanded for a longer period of time. Same if she does A plus B. Same if she does the grab. So, yeah. See that? Now, of course, if she does this into an empty Wind Charmer, then it's gonna avoid the vertical. So you have to be careful about that, but, again, almost every Talim player on the planet is going to hit a button, because almost every Talim player on the planet thinks that reverse sledge cancel is real. This is why I laugh my ass off at any Talim player that does reverse sledge cancel all the time as a crutch, because it's not fucking real, and I just do, with Talim, 6BB counter hit into 76 damage all day. With Tier, I just do 3B into 76 damage in Gloomy all fucking day. Or in Gloomy with Tier, I just do 6AB into Oki, because they're gonna attack, because they're a Talim player, into 76 damage all day against Talim players that use reverse sledge cancels, because they never change the timing, so I don't even have to worry about, oh well, they might prolong the reverse sledge cancel. And again, if Talim sits here and does it all the way like that, I mean, you've done it for so long, I already know what the timing's going to be. I fucked it up there because I'm very smart, but like, I already know what's going to be. I play this character enough and I play against this character enough where I know what the timings are. Like, reverse sledge cancel isn't real. And again, this is something that you can do if you want to style on them. If you don't want to do this, if you don't want to think, oh, are they going to go in the Wind Charm and hit a button? And they are. But if you don't want to deal with that, if you don't want to figure out, okay, well, with this move, with this 18 frame vertical at this timing, I can counter hit, launch them, and practice the timing and get used to it. If you don't want to do any of that, again, just get used to that timing for option selecting with the horizontal. I already showed you can do it. Every character can fucking do it in this game. Astroth can do it with 6A plus B or 4AA. Yeah, like, even Astroth can do it. Nightmare can do it with 6A. Like, every character in this game has options to be able to beat it. So, that's the secret for a reverse sledge cancel. The biggest lie told in SoulCalibur VI. So again, at the end of that, what are the main points here? It's not real. You should be laughing in the face of any Talim player that does this. I know I do. Again, just look at me playing against any Talim player. She doesn't need it. I don't use it because I think it's fucking garbage, and I just told you why. I mean, it is garbage. It's not even a question. Like, she wouldn't change if it was removed from the game. It doesn't help her in matchups. It's a crutch that even pro Talim players use. If you learn how to beat it, you'll be able to beat almost every Talim player on the planet. And it should be removed from the game. Because the only use that reverse sledge cancel has is annoying option selects post-GI. That's it. Like, what Talim can do with reverse sledge cancel is option select break attacks by a post-GI immediately doing reverse sledge and then canceling it when she reacts to the break attack. That's the only use for it. So, it should be removed from the game, but, instead of getting mad and complaining on Twitter, I'm looking at you pro players about Talim's reverse sledge cancel, and then when anyone tries to tell you how to beat it, saying how, you know, just saying how can you defend, reverse sledge cancel, how about you fucking lab it? How about you fucking lab it? How about that? Huh? Because it drives me fucking insane that people complain, like the last patch, people are like, why wasn't Talim's reverse sledge cancel touched? It's like, what the fuck do you want them to do about her reverse sledge cancel? Like, you can already option select it, you can already launch her foot if she hits a button, like, you can already react to it with the 2A. What can they do to it? Remove it from the game? I'd be happy if they did. But the problem lies with you. The reason why they're not changing is because they know better than you. Because they are some of the only people on the planet, and it doesn't include you, that, well, I guess you now if you watch this. I'm talking more the pro plays. But they're the only people on the planet that actually knows how this thing works. Because all you do is complain on Twitter about how Tia's verticals track when you're sidestepping left instead of labbing the fucking matchup. Anyway, hi, my name is Seth. This is an anti-Talim guide. How are you doing? Yeah. Don't worry though, I'm sure someone's going to see it and then be like, this guy's defending reverse sledge cancel. I'm sure it's gonna happen because SoulCalibur plays, especially most pro SoulCalibur plays, are bitches. But yeah, those are the takeaways. I hope. And again, look at this with your own character too and practice timing, because getting the timing isn't gonna happen overnight. But you can see it's there. You just have to practice it, and you have to know what option or options your character has to be able to beat it. And also look at their verticals too, and see if there are any verticals they have, especially launches, that have a wide enough hitbox to be able to clip Talim when she goes into Wind Charmer. Because if you have that, then just... Oh yeah, and also pay attention to see if Talim goes into Wind Charmer in the wrong direction. Because, like, if Talim goes into Wind Charmer against, to the left against Tia, then every vertical under the sun with Tia is going to clip her. So, there's that too. Yeah. Anyway, that's why I say reverse sledge cancel isn't real. I'm looking over my notes again. I think I already went over all of these. Yep, I went over all of the things I wanted to talk about already without even reading them, because reverse sledge cancel fills me with so much rage because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about and just want to complain on Twitter instead of labbing because they're lazy as fuck. Anyway, sorry. Like, I'm just saying, if I can get to A3 in this game, like, I'm a dumbass, right? But if I can get to A3 play in this game, like, because and I can beat pro players that play SoulCalibur, like, there's a problem. Because I'm fucking stupid. I don't play optimally at all. All I do is lab, and I see what I can do against characters, and that's just knowing how to beat characters, knowing option selects, and how to interrupt things, has gotten me to A3. And I don't even think I'm good at this game, so that's just really tells you something about SoulCalibur players and how fucking lazy they are. That's why I said before about it, if when I was talking about her stance option selects, if SoulCalibur players can do basic arithmetic, and I'm asking a lot of SoulCalibur players. I mean, Like, SoulCalibur players are the type of people that were in math class and were like, oh, why do we need this class? And then I start talking about probability with Tyr and her 4K and how it doesn't do 36 damage. And then they're like, no, you're wrong, because it can. It's like, yeah, it can, but you don't understand how fucking probability works. You don't know basic arithmetic. Probably don't even know how to subtract 28 from 24. God. Anyway, sorry, aggravating. Aggravating. Hi, I'm Seth. That was a 5-minute rant on how SoulCalibur plays with bitches. Alright. And again, Twitch chat has been acting really funny today, so if anyone sent any messages, I haven't seen them. They haven't come up for me. So I apologize if you think I'm ignoring you. I'm not. It's just Twitch is being dumb today, so I'm missing messages and I can't see the chat all the time. Twitch sucks. Alright, so outside of reverse ledge, this is just miscellaneous strings that don't really fit into a category that I want to go over. There are a couple of them, and this isn't all for punishment, this isn't all for strings, but this is mainly just option selects and strings people don't generally punish, that should get punished. There are obviously more, and there are other strings too that people don't really punish, but Talim players don't use a lot, so I'm not going to battle with them like this. That's not something Talim players really use, but it is punishable. I'm not going to talk about that. So it's not everything, but just keep that in mind. These are, I think, the most important ones. So where is the first one? All right, so first one, I think the most important one, AABA and AABB. There's a lot to this. There's a lot. In general, most Talim players are just gonna do AABA. If Talim does AABA, just launch her. Even if she cancels into Wind Charmer, just launch her. Fuck. It is a little tricky if you have a slow launch punish like Talim does, because then Wind Charmer can avoid your launch punish, but like that, yeah. And you could see that was run counter, not attack counter too, so that hit it. So duck that and launch. Just make sure to be quick about it, and online can and will fuck you on that punish. So be careful of that. The other thing too is AABB. AABB is -14, and it's -16 if she holds it and goes into stance. Punish it if she does it. Punish it, punish it, punish it. Just remember, just because she goes into Wind Fury doesn't mean it's safe. It doesn't mean that she can do anything to interrupt your punish. It is -16. Like, let me do like that, for example. Well, that crushed my high, but you get the point. I mean, that would have hit. See, so don't worry about that. Just punish it -16 unless you're like me and have a 16 frame high. Oh, I guess I can do 2B, right? Like that. And the reason why I say it's -16 isn't because like a 16 frame move will be a fastest move. I mean, if she does AABB, goes into Wind Fury, and then immediately God, she's -16. So yeah. So the other things too about this, that's just what most Talim players are going to do. And then the other thing here too is you can GI this 4th hit, no matter what she does here. Can't punish if the other person's riding the game on a toaster. You're right about that, Gabe. You can GI this 4th hit. The GI is an option select. And most Talim players aren't going to go past that because most Talim players are stupid. But a good Talim player, what she's going to do is she's going to stagger this. So she's going to do like AAB, like that. And this AAB by itself is -16. But what she's going to do, the reason why she's going to do this is because if you GI here for this last hit, then you get lethal hit by core circuit forward B. Oh boy, I just connected to the chat again. Hey, if anyone said anything after that Gabe message, didn't see it. Thanks, Twitch. You're real good. But yeah, so that's something to look out for too. Also contesting AA, like if Talim does AA like this, obviously most of the time after an AA like that, it's your turn. Thing is, she can delay this B and this is all guaranteed. So there's that. So you gotta be careful contesting her as well after AA. So it's a whole thing. But then if she delays this, you can GI it, and then it's level 3. So there's that too. So there's a lot to this string. It's pretty straightforward. It's just, if you think she's gonna do AABA, duck it. Definitely considering uninstalling after I upgrade and rebuild my PC. I don't blame you. But yeah, if you think she's gonna do AABA, duck it. AABA again, minus 14, 16 if she goes into stance. If she just keeps doing AABA and AABB as a mix-up, which most Talim players are going to do because they don't know how to think past mash buttons, then you can just GI it and she's level 3. If she does just AAB, you can do the 16 frame punish. And if you're afraid of her getting this A, she can hit confirm this into this. So that's something to watch out for too. It's not like she has to commit. She can react to the A hitting and do the win, so A plus B. So that's something you have to look out for as well. So it's not just a free punish and she has to fully commit to that string. She doesn't, but again, most Talim players are shit, so they're not going to bother hit confirming anything. And then yeah, just be careful of her just doing AA, because that delay is pretty strong. I think that's everything on that. And of course, that entire thing changes when she's in Soul Charge, because Talim's a baby character. AAA. AAA. I can't remember what this is on block, but it's like minus 8 or something. It leaves her in back turn. A lot of bad... Okay, so that means that is minus 6. That's minus 6 on block than the AAA. This is something you see a lot of bad Talim players do, is AAA, because they're like, ooh, free mix-up. AAA is not natural on normal hit. It is not natural on counter hit. It leaves her minus 6 in back turn. She can't GI. If she hits a single button and you have an 18-frame launcher, you launch her. If you have a 20-frame launcher or a 20-frame counter hit launcher, and Talim does the second fastest move she has, which is that. Her fastest move is 2A, which is 14 frames. You launch her. Of course, there, she's airborne, so it's not that. But if she does anything here, you launch her. Just make sure to do a mid, because what Talim can do here is she can do this, and if you try doing an A here, or a high, like if I try doing this, oh boy, high crush. So, just do a mid and just murder her, because if a Talim player is doing this, that means they think this is a mix-up. 99% of the time. And if they know this isn't a mix-up, they're not using this move to go into back turn. So, just murder her for doing that. Most of the time, against almost every Talim play, you see them do that. You just do a counter hit launcher. That's a mid. As a general rule. And again, when she's in this, because she's back turn, she can't GI, so she can only block. Alright. Here's another one that's going to take some time to explain, but I think is very, very important, because this is a change that she just got in one of the latest patches, and is really fucking annoying to deal with, because you really haven't had to deal with this before until now. And that's this! Because again, we're making Talim a baby character. They changed all of this, because she really needed that buff. Yeah, she really needed this to be safe and not minus 12 when it's already hit confirmable. Yeah, she really needed all of that. Okay, first off, fuck everything about all of this. This change needs to be reverted. It's fucking stupid. That's the first thing. The change to all of these moves needs to be reverted. It's fucking dumb. Second thing. And this is more something you should know and practice, because it's really important, because almost every Talim player uses this move now, because again, they're making Talim into a baby character. For pea-sized brains, because Talim players, people attracted to Talim have pea-sized brains on average. In fact, for you to have a nut-sized brain, you would be 2 standard deviations above the average Talim player. That's how dumb Talim players generally are. So they rely on this mix-up all the time, because ooh, unga bunga Talim, patch 2.25 Talim. So, the option select for this is to duck, well, stones have more brains. I couldn't have said it better myself. Sorry, this isn't an option select. And the reason why it's not an option select, it says this is fucking safe and this will catch the fuzzy god I'm about to tell you about. Which is fucking stupid. And it's safe, because, again, baby character. Stones aren't even alive. Hey, now, my stone mom is upset at you about that. She knows a stone person. Okay, so it's not an option select. Sorry, I misworded it. It's a fuzzy guard, that loses to the K. But if you duck and then sidestep, it is a fuzzy guard against this. You have enough time, between the timing of the A and the B to be able to fuzzy that. Again, the K will beat it, though, but you have enough time. So let me demonstrate how this works. So if I do that. Oh, yeah, and then if you're thinking, oh, just block. Well, 6AA gives her a free mix-up. So you don't want to just block it. You're better off eating the K than allowing her to get a free mix-up. So, I did that. Let me erase this one. And then play random. Okay, so that's the fuzzy. A little bit too early there. A little bit too early there, sorry. Doing it a little bit too early. But you can see that's the fuzzy. I don't know why I sidestepped right there, but that's the fuzzy. If I can do it right. I was just practicing this yesterday, so I would actually get it right. Again, baby character, this is incredibly hard to do, but you can do it. That's the fuzzy. There's a very specific timing to it. But you can see now that I've done it a couple times, now I'm getting it. So, that's the fuzzy. For that, bullshit. Again, that should be completely reverted. It should be removed from the game. It's fucking stupid. And again, if she does the K, that's going to clip you. Unless she delays the K. So, like, if she's trying to hit confirm AK, that'll still work as a fuzzy. But the timing is very, very, very strict. And it's fucking stupid, and it should be removed from the game. But that's the fuzzy god. So, practice that, because every Talim player under the sun uses that now. And if you can fuzzy god that, then Talim players aren't going to know what the fuck to do, because Talim players have pea brains. Moving on. Sorry, that entire thing just pisses me off. That entire string. That's such... Listen, I'll go over the rest of them, but can I just vent for a minute? Everything that they fucking done to this character since release, I fucking hate. I fucking hate. Because not only are they playing favorites with Talim, but they just keep making her easier and easier and easier to play. Every fucking patch. Like, they just make it so that she becomes an easier and easier and easier character to play and a harder and harder character to fight against. Like, everything... Not everything. Most of her changes that she's gotten over the past year have been things that you're able to beat. The problem is, it's just incredibly hard to be able to beat them because they involve option selects and fuzzy guarding. That is incredibly strict in timing. And they just keep giving that to her over and over and over again because they want Talim to be an easy character to play, but also a hard character to play. Because Talim is a hard character to play well, and to play against someone that actually knows the matchup. Like, you've seen me play against Talim players, even Talim players in A ranks, like high A ranks. I've run all over them because Talim players don't know how to play the character. But the reason why Talim players don't know how to play the character is because they give us so many of these easy baby options that are traps to lull you into a false sense of security with playing the character that no one knows how to beat, that when you play against someone that does know how to play against the character, all of a sudden you just lose all the time. Because she's just that fucking brain dead easy to play. But she's not, though, because again, if you play against someone that knows how to play against her, you have to know how to play the character or you just lose. But she doesn't incentivize that because she's so hard to play against that barely anyone knows this matchup injustifiably. Like, Tia, I can talk about her all day and say how no one knows the Tia matchup, but the whole reason why I'm doing this is because this is bullshit. Like, this entire character is fucking stupid. Like Talim in Season 1 was a much better character than Season 2, even though she was low tier. And you know why? You know why she was better in Season 1? Because she was more interesting because she didn't have all these stupid fucking baby options like 6AA, 6AB. But all of the fucking P-brains flock to her and like, oh, she's low tier, she's bad. Because I've never played a low tier complex character in my life. And I don't know how to play this game, so I need her to be easier. And then Project Soul's like, okay, let's make her easier. It's like if you take Yoshimitsu and Tekken, and yeah, play Yoshimitsu and Tekken. I think Talim's the Yoshimitsu of this game. It's like if you take Yoshimitsu and Tekken, and then just give him a fucking, like a hell sweep. Like in this game. Like, okay, yeah, let's just remove everything about him. Let's just remove all of the interesting things about him to give him a fucking hell sweep to make him easier to play. It's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid what they've been doing to this character since the game came out. It's so fucking dumb. Because it's like, she's still hard to play, but she runs over people because no one knows the matchup, even in high A ranks. And not only that, but then it's like, everyone thinks that she's a fucking baby Unga Bunga character, because she is, because no one knows the fucking matchup, but if you know the matchup, then she's not. But because no one knows the fucking matchup, you could just abuse all of these simple options, these like 5 strings that she has, like AABA, 6ABB, all of her Wind Charmer stuff, 6A in the Wind Fury. You can just abuse that and win against anyone with her. You don't even need to actually play the character. It's fucking stupid what they've been doing to her. I mean, at least they haven't made it so that she just has a hell sweep, and she has an unbreakable command grab in neutral, and so she actually is easy to play, and she's like fucking Asuka and Tekken, or I don't want to make any examples in this game, but like Asuka, where it's like, okay, you have this character that's potentially really complex, but oh, she has like 5 options that would just destroy everyone. There's no reason to use anything else, because these 5 options are better than everything else she has. But anyway, sorry, I just wanted to rant because, fuck this character, and fuck Okubo for all of the changes that she's made to her. Like, I've never felt so aggravated. And consistently, every patch, every time I see Talim buffs, I always get aggravated. I always get aggravated. Like, why does she need this? Why the fuck does she need this? It's minus 14, but it has no fucking active frames, so you can't punish it, and it wall splats for 70 damage and it's 12 frames. Why? Why does she have it? Just make the range on her 8 slightly larger so she can punish Cervantes' things. Why does she need this dumb shit? Like, okay, yeah, like, fuck neutral at the wall. You know what? One of the things that used to be so interesting about, well, one of the things that is... Let me rephrase that. One of the things that's the most interesting about Talim is neutral. I love Talim's neutral. It feels so good. But the problem is when you're at the wall, you don't have to play neutral anymore because you can just do this. Like, oh, I did a 12 frame poke that will do 70 damage to you, and you can't punish even though it's minus 14 because haha, no active frames. Like, okay, yeah, let's just make her fucking easy. Like, I don't use that move at the wall on principle because I think it's fucking stupid and it's not fun. No wonder people have quit playing this game. Yeah, like, Season 2 is shit. Like, there are people that say Season 2 is better than Season 1. I don't understand how you could say Season 2 is better than Season 1 in this game. It's fucking stupid. Season 2 de-emphasizes neutral. It adds a fuck ton of moves that have no counterplay for no reason. Like Cassandra, core circle back A. Like Taki, 6A plus B. Like, everyone's fucking soul charge. Everyone's stupid fucking soul attack. Like why is soul attack in the game? Soul attack is fucking stupid. Why did everyone's soul charge get buffed and now everything's just a free 50-50 mix-up like I'm playing Mortal Kombat 10? Like, why does half the characters in this game now have a move that's just completely free and uncounterable and looks at one hole that they had in the character design, which is good to have, and then just say, hey, we're just going to patch this hole with a fuck ton of concrete and some steel bars and some plaster and then paint over it, and you have this giant fucking abomination sticking out of the fucking wall where that hole used to be, and they're like, yeah, it's patched, and it's like, yeah, it's patched, but there's a giant fucking bulge coming out of this stupid wall that I'm hitting my head on all the time because it's making me go fucking crazy that Taki has something like 6A plus B. But no, Season 2 is better than Season 1. Like, okay. I'm saying that as someone that played Talim and Tier. Remember when Tier was competitively unviable? I remember. I think that season was better than this season. This season is fucking garbage. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. It's okay, we're almost done. Anyway, rant over, tangent over. Hi, I'm back to teaching you how to play against Talim. Fuck this season. And fuck this move. Maybe Season 3 will fix a lot of things. I mean, hopefully, but my guess is that they're just going to make this game more obnoxious, because, I mean, again, look at what they did to Talim. Look at what they did to Songmina, right? Hit confirmable 2BB and then just mix up in the mix-up. Like, you can say if she's better or worse, but, I mean, she just has 3 mix-ups now with 2BB. Yoshi, like, look at everything they did with Yoshimitsu. Look at everything they did with Zaselmel. Like, Season 3 is just going to be worse. I might stop playing this game if Season 3 is as bad as I think it might be. Because, like, Season 3, if it's coming, is right around the corner. And there are no signs that they're trying to tone anything down. Like, they're just going to destroy this game by making everything so overpowered, it's not fun to play against. Like there's a very fine line between having a game like SoulCalibur Season 1, where everyone has a lot of really cheap things, but it's fun to play against because there's always counterplay to it, and it's not that cheap, and SoulCalibur VI Season 2, where, everyone has cheap things, but almost everyone also has things that are incredibly overpowered and obnoxious and unfair and unfun to play against. And I have a feeling, again, they'll just do the same thing in Season 3. The only thing they can do to fix Season 3 is to tone down Soul Charge across the board. But really, to me, SoulCalibur 6 Season 2 is the same as Tekken 7 Season 3, just in a different aspect. Like, in Tekken 7, it's combo damage. In SoulCalibur, it's cheapness. Like, it's too much. It's too... Like, I love cheapness in fighting games. Like, I love anime fighters. I love Blaze Blue. I love Guilty Gear. But SoulCalibur, it's too much. That gets to a point where it's not fun. And you also have to, if you have a good fighting game, all of the characters have to have holes in the game plan. And all they're doing, again, is they're just patching the holes for no fucking reason. And not only they're patching the holes, but they're patching the holes with really obnoxious, dumb shit. And it just makes it 10 times worse. And it's completely unfun. Like, we're at a point now in the game where Aswell feels like not a character that's not obnoxious to fight against. Borderline fun sometimes compared to other characters in this game like Yoshimitsu and Zaselmel and Amy. And that should tell you a lot. Because Aswell hasn't been changed, and if anything, he's been nerfed since Season 1. Remember when Aswell was the most annoying fucking thing on this planet, and everyone wanted him nerfed? He's barely been changed, and now he feels fine. That should tell you something. That should really tell you something about the current state of the game. When Aswell, in pretty much the same state he's been in as Season 1, feels fine. That should really tell you something. Alright, moving on. This time I'll actually move on, sorry. Alright, 3A. 3A is +2 on block, but it leaves her in back turn. And like I said before, her fastest move out of back turn is 14 frames with a 2A. So, if you do a 2A yourself, even though she's +2, guess what'll happen? Clash. And the only option that can, so, okay, let's say she does this as well. If she does, like, an A, sorry, that's not enough. I forget what the frames on this are exactly. Oh, that's high crushing. Yeah, if you do a 14 frame move, I got a little overzealous. That'll beat that. If she does this is 16 frames. So that'll do that. It'll just put you back in neutral. So the only thing that really beats a 2A is splits. because that'll go under it, but then it's not really... I mean, considering what she could potentially do, like with gram mix-ups and stuff, doing 2A after that isn't bad, and it's also, again, it's completely fine to try contesting this as well. So, yeah. And then, again, let me just demonstrate this real quick. So, like, if I do a 14-frame move here, like if I do B, that'll trade with her second fastest move, which is the K. So if you have something like that too, that's also a good option as well, because everything after the K is slower, so that B will beat everything else, including, or that 14-frame vertical, I should say, will beat everything else, including the split. So the only thing that will explicitly lose to is 2A. So, generally after that, I do either 2A or B. But yeah, contest that, because there's no reason to just eat that mix-up. Let's see what else. Back turn AAA. So this last hit here is -20. First two hits, so it goes -16, -16, -20. Please punish -20. Please launch her for doing the last hit, because this is a stagger. It's not a very good one, but is that entire thing is hit confirmable. It's also a stagger. If she finishes it, just launch her for it. But I wouldn't recommend punishing at -16 unless she's consistently doing like this, which you might see quite a bit. Depending on the character, like if you're playing Setsuka and you have Twisted, then yes, punishing at -16 might be good. So, BK, this, duck the high. This doesn't jail. Duck the high. Doesn't have a lot of active frames, so when you duck the high, it can be hard to punish. Like, I can't punish with that. I'm sure I can punish with... maybe I can't punish with that. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of active frames, but most characters can launch punish that. I think Tom's just an exception there. I think you can also... Yeah, you can also do a high crusher move if you want. But she's airborne, so keep that in mind as well. And especially make sure you're practicing ducking that too, because if you don't, then in Soul Charge she has BKAA, which is only -16 and low, so. There's also that, so it's really important that you learn to duck that high. 6BB, I kind of already went over this when I talked about the option selects with her stance transitions, but 6BB is -16, and if she does this into this, you can interrupt, which is her fastest move, by the way. You can interrupt with a 16-frame move, so if she does 6BB, just interrupt with a 16-frame move. Same with this, but this one is the same thing. It's only +10, same as 6BB. So that rock was interesting. So a 16-frame move will beat this, her fastest move. But it's -20 on block if she doesn't go in the stance. So it's the same idea there as with 6BB. 6BK, it's the exact same thing I said as 3A. It's +2 on block. I think the difference here, though, is, on block it forces crouch, so it's a little bit different. But, like, for example, with Talim here, this is good for Talim because I have a 12-frame, while rising, B, while, vertical, mid, words. But generally, this is actually good as long as you have a 12-frame while rising move, because, like I just showed you, if she does the K, her second fastest move, it'll trade with 14, or, yeah, it'll trade with a 14-frame, and if she does her fastest move, 2A, it'll trade with a 12-frame because she's back turn, the fastest move's 14 frames. So, of course, if that means if you have a 12-frame, mid, from a while rising state, then that'll interrupt anything she has. Because she won't be able to crush it. So I'm getting a little bit delirious because I've been talking for so long. But then the risk there is that she can, like, if I do this, and then she can step it. So that's the risk. So, like, if I do that, well, never mind. That'll equip her. But she can, so keep that in mind. Again, look at what your character has and see what's best, for whatever character you play. But, yeah, that is very beatable. You just have to interrupt it. Just remember that's essentially 0 on block and forces crouch, and she can't GI after it. and her step is much weaker. 3B, her launcher here, that's -12, so please punish it. 4BB and 4BA, this is a bit of a weird one. This again has a sort of fuzzy guard to it, kind of. So if she does the 4BB here, you can step it. And then the reason why a lot of people don't step it, is because of this. But here's the thing, because people are afraid this will counter hit launch you, but the thing is, that will only counter hit launch you if it's charged. And if she charges it to a point where it will counter hit launch you, you can step guard. So if she's doing the B a lot and you think she's going to do the B or charge the A, then you can step guard, and that's a pretty good option to select. You can also sidestep and duck if you're really feeling yourself. But if she's doing the short A lot, like that, which you'll see a lot to go into back turn, because that's all natural, you can duck, and then react, and then punish it. And then if she does the B, when you're standing there and trying to duck, you can react to the mid and block it. So that's how you deal with that. But again, the important thing there is to make sure to step guard is step and duck. Because that's the best fuzzy guard, and the only thing that beats that is the non-charged A, which doesn't really do anything, so. Is that. 1B, this one is, -12 on block and 0 on hit, so it's not like most lows in this game that are minus, this is 0. So be mindful of that. Core Circle 4B, this one is -14. You may have remembered from before, because you don't see this move too often, and this was a long time ago, but this move used to be Launch Punch, but used to be -22, I think. It's now -14, and if it's charged, and I mean fully charged, it's safe. It's -8. I didn't write it down, but I believe it's -8. And again, I'm saying safe unless you're playing Taki. I know some SoulCalibur players gonna be like, "Oh, excuse me, Seth. Taki has..." Shut the fuck up. We're not talking about your waifu, okay? Fuck you. Not everything revolves around your fucking core values. But yeah, this is -14. Please punish it, because this is... It does a lot. And it also, lethal hits Pulse GI. Jumping B. Jumping B is a weird one. If it's not really, something you can do online, but offline, this is something to keep in mind. This is a kind of reactable move. When I say kind of, I mean if a Talim player is doing it over and over and over again, you might be able to react to it. And the way that I look at this move, I look at this move in 2 stages to see if she's doing the move and duck it. She kind of jumps and then stays in the air for a second and then does the move. So I look at that jump, and then I'm ducking, like, right when there's a little delay, when she's at the apex of her jump. That's about the time I'm reacting to it. So, again, it's kind of reactable. Is it practical? No. Are you going to be able to do it online? No. But it's good to keep in mind if you're offline playing against a Talim that's using this move over and over and over again, that it's kind of reactable. Kind of. Again, 6K, I kind of went over this when I was venting, but it's -14 on block. But because it has no active frames, no recovery frames, you're not going to punish it online, and even offline, it's going to be incredibly hard to punish it, because, again, Talim's a baby character, and this game is for babies now, because that's what Okubo wills. 1K, this one, horizontal low, -14 on block. For some reason I wrote 0 on block. No, it's 0 on hit, which is extremely good, because it does 16 damage, it's tracking, it's a low, and it's only -14, and it's 0 on block, so keep that in mind too. 4K, this is +8 on hit. It has no range, but if you get hit by this, don't press a button, because you're -8. And it's only -2 on block as well. So even though it has no range, this is an amazing poke tool. So be mindful of that. Oh, and then what this also means too is if you do like an A or something, she can high crush with this, because it's only -2, and the high crush frames will come out in time, and then she'll crush your A and fucking murder you. So be mindful of that. Not move you see very often, though, but I think it's important. BA. Oh! Break attack. This is only +2. This is only +2 on block. So a little bit less than most break attacks. That's why you don't see many Talon players throw this out in the open. Because even though it does a lot, some of the highest post break attack post GI damage in the game, if that sentence makes sense, it's only +2 and it's really slow. So, oh, and yeah, and don't worry about the cancel, because just hit her when she does the cancel, like if you stepped it, just hit her or just react to it. It's not a real thing because it takes time. Like, look how much time it takes for me to be able to actually hit a button after that cancel. No, you know what it's like? It's like Siegfried's cancels. It's like Siegfried's, you know that mid-low he does where he can cancel in the stance? Or, sorry, cancel in the crouching? It's just like that. Except with Siegfried, you just launch punch him at the same time you would launch punch the low because it takes so long for him to recover. With Talim, you have to react to it, but it takes a lot longer for her to go in the back turn than it looks like. It's deceptive on the timing. 2A plus B. This one. So this is a lot like this move, but this is by itself. So this is -14 and it's -16 if she goes in the stance. Her doing this in neutral like this is -16 and -20 if she goes in the stance. And you don't see this very often, but the reason why I think this is important is because it wall splats. So if a Talon play is, and again, you don't have to do this, you don't have to take any risk anymore, because we're goo goo gaga now with 6K, but yeah, don't let her get away with that if your back's to the wall. And again, if she goes in the stance, it's -20. So keep that in mind. 1A plus B -12 high crush. This launches on counter hit and it lethal hits when your guard stamina is low. So make sure to punish this when she does it. 4A plus B. Same thing as I've told you with all of the back turn moves. If she starts hitting buttons, just fucking kill her because she's in back turn and she's minus as fuck. From crouch A plus B, this one is -14. You don't see this in neutral very often, but it's still a thing. Almost done. Back turn A plus B. This one, if she fully charges this move and you block it, she is +12. She gets a guaranteed A. Is guaranteed on block if she fully charges it, so duck it on reaction. And, her B plus K, this is only good after she does combos, more so after she does, let me try, let me turn on counter hit, just to show you where this is actually useful and where it's not. So this is useful when she does this, stuff like that, like combos like that after 4BA where it knocks it far away. The only time she's really supposed to use B plus K is to get in after those combos and apply Oki, and there it's real. There she's actually allowed to do it. But if she's just in back turn, she does this, beat the shit out of her for it. Just beat her ass. If she hits you after doing this, it's because she's playing an online Talim. Beat her ass for doing this, but make sure though to do a vertical, and sorry, not vertical, a mid, or yeah, a mid, because she can do this twice and now crush low, or she can high crush here. So make sure to do a mid and beat her ass for doing that. And then the other thing, the last move, this -14 and it forces crouch, and that's everything. This move is -14 and forces crouch like that. Some characters aren't going to be able to punish it with the pushback. If you can punish it, punish it. And that's everything. That took me 3 hours. Holy fuck. That was 3 fucking hours. Ugh. At least I don't think I made any mistakes during that whole thing. Holy shit. I'm exhausted. Oh my god, I don't think I've gone on for 3 hours straight before. Amazing knowledge. Well, I hope it's helpful. And I hope to when I upload on YouTube, or anyone watching on YouTube, I hope it's helpful for them. But this is like my magnum opus. This is like my legacy for SoulCalibur VI at this point. That's what I'm thinking right now, because it's like a 3-hour encyclopedia on everything Talim can do and how to beat it. And that's everything I did isn't even everything too. Like, this character is incredibly complex. She's incredibly hard to play well. And the reason why I say she's incredibly hard to play well is because while she's incredibly hard to play against, if you know how to play against her, you know how to play against 99% of Talim players. And that's why I did this, because I'm so sick of seeing like these Talim players that just like unga bunga their way to A rank because no one knows how to beat her, and no one labs the matchup ins fair. Because knowing Talim, I had to spend 3 fucking hours, more than 3 hours, explaining how to beat her. So imagine not playing Talim and going into practice mode trying to figure things out. It's a fucking nightmare. And most Talim players can just abuse that, and I want people to be able to have something to be able to look at with this character, so that if something is beating you, you can look at it and know how to beat it. I can't go into everything with each individual character though, because that would take days. That would take hours and hours and hours of not just me labbing it, but also me explaining it. It would take fucking days straight of talking and researching to figure it out. I'm not going to do all of that. She's a very hard character to play against. I hope that all of this teaches you, or at least gives you an idea on what to do against this character. And the next time that you're having trouble against Talim, you can look back on this. And again, I'll upload this on YouTube with timestamps as well. I'll probably put it in the below my stream, so you can just go to that and go to a timestamp. If you ever have trouble with Talim, you can just go to the stream, go there, and look at it. Because she's an incredibly complex character, and she's hard to play against. But again, most Talim players, and you see this when I play against Talim too. Most Talim players don't know how to play the character. They just know how to play her in a very one-dimensional way, in a way that like okay, I'm playing her this way because no one knows how to beat her, and I can get myself to A rank by playing her this one way and not actually learn the character. So I'm hoping that this will help against those players, because Talim, again, she's my favorite character to fight against. She's my favorite SoulCalibur character. I love playing her. I love playing against her. But a lot of these Talim players just give Talim a bad name because it's just like, oh, it's unga bunga mix-ups, and it's fucking stupid. And again, I don't blame people. Like, I can blame people and laugh at people for not labbing tier and not knowing her basic shit. But Talim, I absolutely understand why people don't lab her. It's incredibly daunting. But yeah, I hope that this either A, like, people watch this and look at this and reference this over time and figure out how to beat shitty Talim players that are beating them with one thing, and it drives those Talim players away from the character, or B, they adapt to it and they figure out how to actually play the character. Because another thing is too, again, I love playing against Talim. She's my favorite character to play against. But most of the time, it's not enjoyable because no one knows how to play the character properly. So it's just like, oh, she did reverse ledge cancel. Let me just option select it. Oh, that's all you rely. Oh, you just do 6BB all the time into stance cancel because you think it's real. Oh, okay, let me just option select that, and it's just the same shit over and over again. It's not fun. And it's just aggravating, especially online when there's a lot of shit that works with her online too. Love to see me do a match with Talim. Next time I play SoulCalibur, I'm very hungry, and as you can imagine, I'm fucking exhausted. Like I'm so exhausted and so tired, and honestly, I'm in a little bit of pain. My throat's in a little bit of pain. Like, my hands are starting to tingle and go numb. That's probably bad. But